What's going on, everybody? Greetings. Surprise live, huh? Well, Mighty Mornings. Well, we're gonna change the name to Mighty Show eventually. We just get the graphics changed one day.
We're not
But
going
we're
to
gonna
change it to Mighty Beaver. I mean, that's that's the mascot, right?
I knew you're gonna say that. I knew you're gonna say that. I was just waiting for that. So no. Due to our HR department, we've been wise to say not to do that.
It
Um,
is so
it'll
Canadian.
be the Mighty Show, or if someone could come up with a great, clever name that
So
doesn't
Canadian, though, Elvin. It's so Canadian.
so politically correct. I try not to be, but we're gonna be looking at doing a episode once a week throughout the weekend. We don't know what time we're gonna fall into. It's gonna be a random thing. Weekends are pretty crazy for myself, and I
Mhm.
believe yourself as well. So
Yeah.
we'll do our best to do a show at least once, either a Saturday or Sunday, depending on what's going on, right? But here we are today. We're going to discuss, and the premise of the show is going to change a little bit. Before Mighty Mornings was about 80s, 90s, things like that. Not to say that we're not going to get into that kind of stuff, but
Mhm.
learn stuff as well and do some comparisons too, right?
Gotcha.
So today, speaking of comparison, we've got a doozy. Um, we've got not arguably, the most expensive TV show currently going on. It's more expensive than Game of Thrones, more expensive than House of Dragons,
Acolyte.
Acolytes. It's in the $1 billion range.
That's
So
insane.
yeah, a billion with the B. So very expensive show. And they are forced, and I'll highlight and reiterate blah, 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 that it is forced to do 5 seasons.
That's wild. So even if they don't have viewership,
Doesn't matter,
they still have to do the 5 seasons.
because there's people out there genuinely thinking that this show is doing well, because their argument is, well, season 2's back. They brought it back for season 2, so obviously it's doing well.
Yeah.
No.
No.
They're
They've already committed.
contractually obligated to do 5 seasons as per Tolkien's estate.
Ugh.
So Tolkien's estate said, hey, we don't care how well you do.
Yeah.
If you want the rights, it's a 5-year deal.
But they didn't even get full rights, right? Like,
That's the crazy part.
to my understanding and from what you've told me, like they didn't get the rights to the Silmarillion at all, which is what this show is supposed to kind of follow, right? They're only got the rights to the appendices of the Lord of the Rings.
It's
So the
it's like
stuff
they
that
opened the
led up
first
to
part
that.
of the book and said, okay, yeah, we'll take this.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, do you not want the rest? No. This is good right here. This is great. This is 10 years right here we could do.
Ugh.
Because we've got our own thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it
Your
was.
own thoughts are always good.
Yeah. Because, if you've already had something to laid out, but why do that? That's old.
No.
Nobody
Let's
wants
be
to see
original.
laid out stuff.
Let's be original and creative, guys.
Creative juices got to get flowing, right? So
the mockery that you're doing right now is wonderful.
Don't need hobbits. Who needs hobbits? We've already had hobbits.
Mm-hmm.
Let's create something totally different, but almost exactly the same.
We'll
call them Harfoots.
Harfoots. Actually, I caught something while watching these episodes.
Okay.
They did call them halflings, which is another term for hobbits. So they're able to get halflings.
They're on that line, huh?
Yeah.
Clever of them.
Because in Lord of the Rings, they call them halflings too, and hobbits.
That's true. Yeah.
But in this, it was just halflings.
When did they call them that? Do you remember? Was it season 1 or season 2?
I don't remember it in season 1. I just remember watching in the 3 new episodes at some point. I can't remember which episode, but they did call them halfling. Oh, I know exactly where it is now. If we want to get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. It was in the second episode with the immortal looking dudes. The sand people, the guys that are dressed up that look like the immortals from 300. when he went to approach that dark wizard or dark sorcerer, whatever that dude is, he mentions like, "Oh, like we can get the wizard to come to us if we threaten to slaughter the halfling thing."
Halflings.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, when
yeah,
Eminem comes down there, right? Yeah,
yeah. Wait, you Eminem?
yeah, Eminem, the
Oh,
blonde.
I oh, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, Eminem shows up and they
Oh,
get the
yeah,
ball rolling,
yeah.
right? I don't know what they were trying to do there. Like, I'm not here to insult anyone in their looks or anything like that, but
Mhm.
you gotta look at it optically and say, does this really fit into the lore of Tolkien?
Right.
It's the same thing with what's the name on the right here with the nice side haircut here.
Oh,
What's his name?
Elrond?
Elrond. Why do these guys have perfect haircuts? Do
I
they got
mean,
barber shops that I know about? Because you saw one of his apprentice. No, sorry, his master, the guy who makes a ship. He's
yeah,
shaving with this seashell.
yeah.
They don't even have blades to shave,
No.
and this dude's got a perfect cut.
Yeah. He's, well, he's an elf. It's magic, and, the elves are perfect beings, right?
No, but
So
the hair flows down, right?
yeah.
Long hair. I have not seen. You could correct me if I'm wrong. Did we see any short hair elves in Lord of the Rings at any time?
Not that I'm aware of. Scanning my brain right now for that
I
for
can't
those.
think of any because I'm going in my brain. I'm going back to
No.
when they Legolas went back. They all went to the forest.
Right.
I don't see anything there during the fight, the battle scenes. I didn't see anybody with short hair.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, I don't think there was, like, there was that. Even in, like, The Hobbit, when they went to Legolas's home, there weren't any elves with short hair.
So I don't know why the showrunners like. You know what? These guys need perms, fades, perfect. Supercut needs to come in there. I'm surprised there's no supercut logos going across the screen. What? Like it's just
Jesus.
so it's ridiculous. And
We
it's
know
just
that they are supposed to be, like, perfectly primed out and, like, straightened and all that fun jazz,
yeah,
but
like get some
yeah,
conditioner sponsorships, right?
right.
Vid- Vidal Sassoon, right? Like
Yeah. Unless, like, they're still considered Elrond is still considered a young elfling, because like, young elves don't have the long
but
blonde hair
do
happen.
they have a comb over?
I that I can't
Right?
that I
Right?
can't
It'll be
speak
probably
to.
to the shoulder or
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah.
It's not a comb over. Like he looks perfect.
Oh, actually, there is some it might explain this might explain because when I was doing research last night, I was up till like
Yeah.
2:30 AM pulling excerpts out and I was reading things on like Elrond's background. So you know how he calls himself half
Hold on.
elven?
I wanna add to that. Sorry, I wanna add to this. This dude, Sheldon, puts in work. Okay. I go to him, let's talk about Rings of Power. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna do Bruce Almighty all night. Right? I'm gonna put my work and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know you're gonna bring the heat today, so I'm good. I'm gonna lay back, relax a little bit.
Yeah. So I'll explain a little. I don't claim to be a Tolkien expert or Lord of the Rings expert. I do love that series though, but there are people that just dive into that lore and like they've absorbed everything. So, anyways, what I found on Elrond and the reason why he calls himself half elven is like down in his lineage, there are traces of like elves marrying humans, like a mother being a human or the father being a human and the elf being the wife. And like as it trickles down, him and his brother, apparently he has a brother. I don't know if he'll ever show up in this
Do
show
they
or
name him?
not. Yeah, he did have a name. I didn't write it down because I didn't think it
Okay.
was important. Because I don't know if they'll ever show him in this stuff. But it came down to him and his brother, and they were both given the choice of either walking amongst men or walking amongst elves. And Elrond chose to walk amongst elves, and his brother chose to walk amongst humans. And apparently, his brother was the one that set up Numenor.
See,
Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
yeah.
Show me that.
So that might explain his hair being the way it is, if they want to go down that route. Um, I mean, with the half elven title that he has, that's probably where it's coming from, to be honest. But it's like with whatever they're doing with the show, I don't think anything's 100%.
But I don't think they're that intelligent to do that.
Jesus. Oh God. Okay.
Because I've seen the writing from season 1.
Right.
I've seen the decision. Do you remember the scene where the volcano? Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen season 1. Don't worry, you shouldn't see it anyways. Do you remember the scene where the volcano erupts? And this is
Yeah.
not a metaphor for anything. It's an actual volcano. I kid you not. Erupts, and
Is
all
this how
that.
bad is this how like your audience interprets that you have to put in a
Oh, it's just
disclaimer?
me. No, I
Oh,
don't say others follow what I have to say. It's just my
okay.
personal opinion. Everyone can come to their own conclusion, right?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
and I
that's
and I
fair.
respect it, right? So, but what I see is like this volcano erupts and this massive backlash of smoke and ash engulfs the surrounding area,
Mhm.
and it's a force to be reckoned with, right? This is
Yes.
a massive explosion, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And Guy Ladriel, she stands there and just takes it.
Embraces it. Yeah.
Any other person out there, I don't care if it's an elf, dwarf, will be ripped to shreds.
I mean, look at Pompeii. They all got calcified. They literally got calcified with ash.
And all
Like,
she got was a little bit of dirt
they
on her
got
face.
dusted.
That's it. That's it.
They all got dusted.
The sheer heat from that should
Yeah.
have just obliterated everybody in sight.
All right. Or they should have been like burnt corpses or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
for sure burnt. For
Yeah.
sure burnt. That heat is insane, right?
Yeah.
So that tells me the inept ability to understand nature, to
Mhm.
understand logic by the writers.
Right.
And at that point, you can tell that this is going to be a long 5 years. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, we're in it for a long haul here of just like disaster. And I look at it now as more of a comedy than anything else. I genuinely laugh my ass off every episode.
Oh shit. That's
It's
not good.
so much fun when you look at it as a comedy.
Interesting.
It
Okay.
just because I have to change because I have to watch it. If I'm going to criticize it, I have to
And talk
watch it,
about it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I might as well do it in a way that I'm entertained.
In a way that you can enjoy it for yourself.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
I look at it as a pure comedy sketch.
Yeah.
It's like Seinfeld in that time, right? So you got you got
Yeah.
your 4 misfits running around, right, doing stupid things. So it just when you look at it from that perspective, you can actually just kind of laugh about it and not to take it too seriously. And sometimes you could take things seriously. Sometimes you have to kind of turn off the switch.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, though, people who do take it seriously, I do respect them as well because they really love the lore.
Right.
It's the same thing with Star Wars, Marvel, etc. Right? I don't insult people who take it seriously because that's their jam. That's their
Mhm.
thing.
For
They
sure.
probably have a lot of attachment to it because of whatever reasons,
Yeah.
right? I see people on like, hey, you're taking it too seriously. You're a grown up or whatever. Take it easy. I don't know if that's fair to do that to people because
No.
it could have value to them, right?
True. I mean, and you can speak on that to anything, not just shows, but like any
Yeah,
other
you're right.
aspects in life. Like
Yeah.
if somebody was to say that to them to me about Lord of the Rings, I'll be like, okay, so what do you love? Football? Kids play football. Are you really taking it seriously? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love football. So like don't come at me if you're a football fan.
But that's a great example because if you go to Europe, soccer, football, they call it
Mhm.
there, they take it as a religious event
Very. Yeah.
in some parts of Europe. Like you do not cross them.
People get hurt
Oh yeah,
over
people
that
get
stuff.
killed,
Yeah.
stabbed.
Yeah.
So what about them? You want to go tell them to be grown-ups too? Like go ahead and see what
Right?
happens, right?
Yeah.
I think you should leave people with their passion and the way it is, right? You can give your opinion on it. And if they don't like your opinion, that's fine, but you shouldn't
Mhm.
insult them for them being very passionate about something.
No.
Do I agree with what they do in terms of hurting people? Of course not. That's not what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
I think that's still stupid for doing that, but I'm not the one to tell people, hey, you should not take it seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, Amazon took it seriously when they dropped all that money,
Yeah.
right?
And for a while, I thought they were gonna do some good stuff because like you kept hearing things about what they were gonna do. Like Jeff Bezos' kid apparently is a big fan of Lord of the Rings, and he told him like, "Hey, don't screw this up, or I'll hate you forever," kind of stuff. And I wonder
Well, I
where
guess
he's
he
at.
hates him forever now.
Yeah, yeah, it makes me wonder where he's at with that now.
He's disowned Bezos.
Yeah, it's
He's
gonna. I'm
taking
gonna.
he's taking his inheritance and effed off.
He's gonna divorce him like his wife did and take that money.
Oh, that was an expensive divorce.
I, yeah, it was. It definitely
But
was.
Bezos will make that up next year.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's adding the whole line of you don't need to have ads. We've prevented you from having ads, and then you have ads.
Yeah,
Doesn't
there
that?
were.
I'm getting generally pissed off with these ads when I'm watching the shows.
It bugs me because it ruins my immersion. I thought the whole point of buying Prime was so we don't have to have ads and we just
Like I'm
watch this stuff.
watching, and all of a sudden I'm into it. I'm like, okay, this is funny, interesting, whatever. And then all of a sudden, how to clean your Tide shirts, like bright, glaring. I have an OLED TV, so when white screen shows up, it blasts into your eyes, right?
Right.
So, and then we'll talk about you mentioned about the darkness of the show in a not in a in an evil way.
Yeah.
So when you have that, it just like you're like, whoa, like what the hell? Like I'm so focused on this thing, and all of a sudden this bright Tide commercial shows up,
And wrecks your
and
eyes.
it just ruins your whole viewing experience, and it takes you away, and you're just like, I don't like. Who would have thought like I'm gonna go buy Tide now because I just saw this commercial ruin my show?
No, not at
90% of the
all.
people are like, F you, I'm never buying Tide now. You just ruined my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I don't know. It's greed. It's pure greed. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You already got our money. You keep raising Prime prices every year.
That's like, yeah, them and other streaming platforms have been doing that, man.
I think I was paying like $70 Canadian for Prime when it started, and now I think about $100 or something like that.
I think it's about 110 now because when I signed up for Prime just recently, it was showing like 99.99, but that was
Yeah.
like USD, and then it converted it to like 110 after tax. I was like, ugh.
Yeah. So it's gone up every year since
Yeah.
I've got it. And I'm just like, okay, since you're getting this, you're obviously making money, Bezos.
Yeah.
You just went and bought an NFL deal for Thursday Night Football. That ain't cheap.
No.
So
I don't like that they did that. I'm not watching football on Prime, man. I don't know if I can.
hey man, that's the thing. I don't like it either, but you know what? You got Peacock, you got CBS, you got all these companies doing it now.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing that Netflix wants to jump in too.
Oh, really? Oh no.
Yeah, they already started the living platform with wrestling as well. They spent $5 billion on Monday Night Raw now. As of this week, I think Monday Night Raw will be on Netflix.
Damn. Okay.
Exclusively on Netflix.
Wow. That's a big deal.
So yeah, people are gonna, and NFL smart. They're like, hey, you want to pay us how much? Sorry. Okay, yeah, you could have that game. That
Just money in
game
the
only,
pockets.
not all the games.
Yeah.
Hey, he's working out.
Keep me hyped, gentlemen. Okay.
I'll bring you that negative energy, brother.
Turn into anger. Pump it out.
Should we get into episode 1 here? I don't want to go into detail too much, but
No.
what do you talk about? Episode 1. You want to talk about the new Sauron?
The temporary Sauron, the proxy.
Can you imagine the agent? Hey, you're gonna be Sauron. Really? Yeah, you're gonna be him.
Let's go.
But it's only gonna be for 10 minutes. What?
The man had his time to shine. I thought he did a pretty decent job for those 5-10 minutes. He had me sold. I was like, yeah, I'll join you, Sauron. I'll be right in there. Let's go march those motherfuckers. Let's just get it going.
Okay, so orcs don't have feelings. They're just evil conduits, are they not? Correct.
No. So there's some stuff to the orcs.
Okay, go ahead. Enlighten me.
Yeah, so they are actually twisted versions of like elves and men. That's what they are. They've been corrupted by darkness, and just evil thought that was done by Morgoth, himself, and Sauron continues to do that. Now, in the Lord of the Rings movies, the reason why they were so what's the word? They were so loyal to Sauron and they listened to every word that he was coming out because they mentioned this in the Rings of Power. It's the power over flesh, right? That's what the ring is. Yeah. Hey, you know what? That dude kind of looks like Simon Pegg a little bit in that picture.
Now I cannot see it. Now I cannot see it. Oh my god, you ruined it even more now.
Holy shit!
Oh
I
my god.
and just in
Simon
that frame, he looks
oh,
kind of like Simon Pegg. That's kind of
oh
wild.
my god, you ruined it for everybody now.
Oh shit.
I cannot see it anymore. It's over. It's
Yep.
over.
But yeah, yeah, it was the power over the flesh, and that's what the ring does.
Yeah.
Is it gives them the power over the flesh, and that's why they were so loyal to him. So the orcs are just is that not is that I was like, yep, okay, this makes sense. But they're yeah, they're
No,
just
no. What does he mean? Is that not him?
is that not Simon Pegg? No, that's not Simon Pegg, my man.
It's not. It's not. See, he thought it was him too. It's not. It's some random dude
Yeah.
who thought his agent struck a gold for him.
Yep.
Yeah. He'll be remembered as a black goo, which we'll get into in a second. That, oh my god, there was a part in that sequence I laughed so hard. Do you know what part I'm talking about with the black goo? When
Oh, you mean when he was
when
flopping
he's
around
Venom?
like flubber?
Yeah, when he's Venom, right?
Oh, see, I looked at it as a flubber thing. You remember the
I
movie
looked at like a
Flubber?
cheap knockoff of Venom. And I mean cheap knockoff
Because
of Venom.
when he was flopping down on the snow, sliding downwards,
That's
I
the
was like,
part I laughed
I
so
swear
hard.
I saw this part in Flubber at some point with Robin Williams, man.
I wouldn't put it past them to copy. They've done it so many other scenes where
Yeah.
they've copied, hark back on. They latched on to Lord of the Rings so hard.
So bad, man. And
It's embarrassing.
then he like absorbs that lady and then becomes a human. I'm just like, all right, so that's crazy. I don't know if you like I kind of talked to you about this before. I don't know if you noticed it, but I when they were shooting their dark scenes, I had a hard time watching it. Like I really
Yeah,
couldn't see the details. Like I could see outlines of characters and
I don't know
certain
why people.
things.
A lot of shows have been doing this, and it really bothers me because what are they expecting us to do then? Crank up our brightness all the way to 100
Pop
when
out
these
X-ray vision goggles to check it out.
like you see that with acolytes in the fight scenes in the forest where you can't really make out exactly what everyone's doing, and maybe that's by design
Right.
because it was horrendous. And then you also had it in House of Dragons in season one. There was a lot of complaint with people,
Oh,
and that's a good show. People still complained over there and said, "Hey, I can't see shit
oh,
in these
interesting.
scenes." And I remember in House of Dragons season one, there's an outdoor beach scene where what do you call it? The queen and her uncle,
Mhm.
they're there in the outside beach area, and it's so dark you can't
Oh,
tell anything, and it was just so annoying,
oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I guess it's to reduce the ability to see imperfections,
Maybe
right?
I might be thinking they're like since like people want realism, they're trying to make it like a realistic dark scene. If it's nighttime, it's gonna be night, so you can't see stuff. But I'm like, this is a movie, my person. I need to see the people in order to understand what the hell is happening in this scene.
Well, if you can't see expressions and movements with hands or the ability to just gesture, if you can't see all these things, it doesn't give you an immersive experience of what's going on.
Right.
You're missing certain elements, right?
Yes. 100%.
And we are only seeing and hearing, and that's
Hmm.
it, right?
Hmm.
So we need to make sure those are all pronounced,
Right.
right?
Like I can see it working for horror movies and horror TV shows, but for stuff like this, that is trying to tell an actual story and get stuff out there so you can understand things, I think that needs to be brightened up a little bit, or
Yeah.
whatever they used to do in the past when they used to have dark scenes and they would be lit up a bit so you could see the facial expressions and everything.
Yeah, and so then after we get the blubber scene, man, that scene was so funny. I
Flubber for
laughed.
life, man.
Oh man, I laughed so hard. I'm like, this is epic. This is so epic. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, So after we see that, we have this chase scene
Oh,
in the horse.
yes. They were like little kids.
She's like,
Like,
"Give it to me,
Aaron, you
give it to
you
me,
took it from me, give it back. I
give
was
it
like, oh my
back. I
god, like,
want it."
all right. I'm
And
just
this
like,
idiot has it on the side, on her side, where she's chasing him.
I did notice that, man. I
And I'm
was
like,
like,
dude, just
okay, bro.
put it in front of you like a necklace or something, and she'll never be able to grab it.
No, no, she won't. And there were like a few times where she almost nicked it off of him too. I'm like, brother, if you know she's trying to grab it, move the damn pouch. Clearly, this
Oh,
man has never played football. Like, you switch the balls when you're running on the outside lanes to your outside arm, so you don't get it punched through. You know what I'm saying?
and they're running, and all of a sudden he disappears.
Yeah, they take like a split path almost, but they don't really show that path.
And she
I don't.
gets lost. She knows this area.
Mm-hmm.
She's been there.
Mm-hmm. And then guards are like, Galadriel, please stop. Okay. What?
And they're wearing all these tattered clothings. I didn't like the guards how they're dressed.
They were so they were wearing clothing over their armor, which was a little odd.
Which makes no sense.
I'm like, why would you try to hide that? Unless it's like a high guard, unless they're trying to differentiate like the high guards of the king to like normal soldiers in their elven army. I don't know, but there's no explanation for it. There's no reasoning to it,
I think you don't even need to have explanation. What you need to do is just have armor.
which looks
You
cool.
have armor, and you can have like crests on their armor, right? You can
Yeah.
have designs to show the differences between a regular army and a royal guard. You
Yes.
know, you see that with Star Wars: red, white,
Hmm.
black. Like you see different colors for different roles,
Right.
different helmets for different roles,
Yes.
right? And you can do that here too. But they decided to do this cheap war, like whoever got the contract for wardrobe struck it gold because they're making all kinds of fabrics and they look
Like,
horrendous, but they're getting paid probably by the boatloads to make these
yeah,
fabrics.
they're just like, let's just make whatever high fantasy thing looks cool in my head.
Let's throw some, rhinestones in there, make some shimmering things happen, and we're good to go.
As long as it's shiny and pretty, it'll capture the attention of the people.
I mean, just look at the picture in front of us here in the background here.
Yeah.
They all look like they're about to go to bed.
Yeah, it's very plain. Very plain clothing. Like you think about what the Lord of the Rings did with their clothing, like cloth costumes. Like there was character to their costumes. There was detail in there. You could differentiate like who's who. Even when you get to like Gondor in the final film, you can differentiate what people's armors mean and what their clothing means.
You look at Legolas, right?
Yeah.
Did he have this ridiculous outfit on when he's walking around? No, he
No.
had a version, but it was more of a, hey, this is going to allow me flexibility. This is going to allow me to fight.
It was an adventuring garb.
Yeah.
You could tell like right away.
Not,
Like
like you look at, I always forget this well haircut dude. What's his name again?
Elrond.
Elrond. Does he look like he's about to go to battle anytime soon?
No.
He looks like he's ready for bed.
Yeah.
He's got his
Politician is what they called him, right?
He's not a politician though.
But that's what they call him in the show.
I know.
Which is crazy.
They don't even know what the characters, what their purposes are. That's the crazy part. Like she is not a warrior.
No.
But they have her as a warrior, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Her husband is nowhere to be found.
Yep.
He's on the side of a milk carton.
She's it is crazy that they depicted her like this. She's not a fighter in the books in Tolkien's lore. They literally just did this to try and make it exciting, and it would have done well if you didn't do that, because people wanted that accurate depiction of her, but they decided not to.
And then we had let me pull this up here. We had this love interest that is just amazing.
Yeah, yeah, that happens in a when does that happen? Is that like second episode, third episode, second episode? I think that happened in, right? Yeah.
We can try to jump around here. We don't have to go directly
Okay.
into detail in case people want to see it for
Gotcha.
themselves. We are going to spoil things here, people. So let's not pretend that we're
Hmm.
not. We're gonna obliterate. Well, I'm gonna. I don't know. Sheldon might be more, calm and reserved, which he is, mature as well.
Yeah. No, he does definitely seduce Celebrimbor. That definitely
Hey,
does
you said it,
happen.
not me.
I mean, he played to all of what
One ring to rule
Celebrimbor.
them all, buddy.
Yeah, calling him like the Lord of the Rings. Like he really played up to Celebrimbor's what's the word I'm looking for? The his the
Emotions.
emotions, the hype, and his skill and how good he was and how good he is and could be even better with his help, you know.
Celebrimbor is supposed to be the best elven mace.
Yes.
The best.
Yes.
He is taking lessons from this guy how to craft things.
Yeah.
That wasn't part of the books.
Yeah, I didn't find anything on that. I
Yeah, it
can't
doesn't exist. That's why
I
he didn't
can't
find it, right?
100% speak to that if he did or he didn't. But even if he had the help of Sauron, like Sauron wasn't supposed to be there to well, actually, I guess he wasn't there when they crafted the Elven rings. Because that did happen in the books. Like he wasn't there when they crafted the rings, and that was a whole thing. But it was supposed to be done in secret.
Mhm.
Like he wasn't supposed to be aware about it. And in the show, they make him aware about that.
So there's a scene. So Helrond doesn't know that he's Sauron.
No, not
The
yet.
problem with the show is time is not explained. Time is not a thing here. There's distance traveled instantly. There is journeys, all these things happening, and we don't know how long these things take because remember, some of these places are pretty far on Middle Earth,
Yes, they are. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the problem with the show since season one is there's no understanding of time given
Hmm.
to us. How
Hmm.
long does it take to go from Numenor to the mainland or Middle Earth?
Yeah.
Who
Who
knows?
knows? No one
It
knows.
could be one day, it could be 1 month. We don't know. It's never
It's
explained to
elven.
us.
It's elven magic.
That's what they called me all the time in high school. That's a terrible dad joke. Even D is probably just like, shut up.
Like why?
But
No. Yeah.
what I'm saying
So
is like,
wait, everyone didn't know.
no, he
In the
doesn't
last,
know.
I thought in the last episode of season one though, he found like that scroll, and was like, oh,
No, he doesn't. He knows that he's not a king.
okay, that's what it was.
Remember how
Okay,
Galadriel said you should go and find out your lineage? We'll look at the
right,
scrolls and find out who you are because
right.
you obviously belong to royalty.
Because he
Because
pulled that scroll out of the water, and is that what he found? Was that him not being the king? Was that what that was?
yeah,
Okay, okay, gotcha.
yeah.
That
So he's like, "You're not the king. You're an imposter. How dare you? We don't want you here anymore."
right.
But
And
Galadriel knew who he was, and she left. She didn't
she
even
had
tell him.
every opportunity to
Oh,
tell them.
right?
And this is supposed to be Galadriel. She's supposed to be wise and like a tactician. And it's like she feel like the whole shame thing of her being betrayed by Halbrand, Sauron, whatever. I'm like, your people are at risk. Why wouldn't you say anything to them? You
And she's
know he is a
thirsty.
great.
She's thirsty.
Oh my god. It's so bad, man. Like you know he's a bad dude. You know he can wreck everything, yet you choose not to tell your king and like your best friend, your supposed best friend,
Yeah.
that this dude and the smith that you respect the most, like one of the Celebrimbor who you really respect, you don't want to tell them who this guy is because you might get hated on. I think they'd respect you a little bit more that you told them like, "Hey, this dude is Sauron. We probably shouldn't be crafting this crap."
It makes no sense. All it does is just pushes the story forward for them
Yeah.
because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's create this separation so that we can push the story forward.
Yeah. They're just filling in little gaps with their own, or filling in the gaps with their own freaking
No, it's
weirdo
more like
ideas.
widening the path into a highway, right?
Mm.
You've got a regular path. They're like, no, let's make this wide as possible so that we can have multiple stories going on.
It's the Acolyte all over again.
Let's not that be nothing. Uh, so I just look at it like we'll get into the other story of the not Gandalf story, which is another ridiculous thing that's happening. I just want to go to this back to here. So he shows up,
Yeah,
right at the gates of what is this place again?
Eric,
Aradale?
Eric. I don't know how to say the name. It's
You should
Araguin
just
or
Google,
Aragon,
just
something
Google
like
it
that.
while I go on this little tangent here.
Okay.
So he basically shows up at the gates there, and this woman who's again thirsty for this guy. This guy's thirst. This guy is coveted by all women of elves and men. They all want a piece of his rings of power. And I don't blame the ladies. Hey, the dude's pretty good, man. He's got a nice lock, some hazy eyes, right? I
Yeah.
mean, hey. And she's like, sir, he's at the gates. Should we let him in? And he's like, no, send him on the way. But sir, he looks hurt. What? Like, he just said, send him on his way.
Yeah,
And
he
you're
was
trying
told
to
not to
argue against that.
converse or trade with him. And I still don't know how to say it. It's Eregion or something like that. It's
Eregion.
Eregion. Thank you. There you go.
Eregion.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of silly. Like your master told you, or like your leader told you to tell them to get the hell out. Why didn't you tell the guards to escort him out of there?
You're a servant. You're not a equal.
No.
You don't have you don't get the right to have a conversation about the matter.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Which it just sounds like, what is the point of him then being that leader then?
Yeah. Well,
right?
I mean, I guess they're not servants because they do hold each other in some sort of regard. They have a respect for each other.
Okay,
But
so
you're
maybe let's say
absolutely
tier
right.
system.
Like they're the hierarchy is like, okay, hey, I'm your leader. Do what I tell you. If you have something you want to say, you can say it, but you still got to listen to what I got to say. Yeah.
Well, I mean, because if you don't have a hierarchy, then you're gonna have a complete mess. You're gonna
Right.
shit show,
Yeah.
right? This is not a time of diplomacy and having a senate or a council. That's not the era of this lore is about, right? You see that at the doors, and you see that the men as well. All the races have these hierarchies, right?
Yes.
It's the times. So he says it, and they still allow him to stay there. And I don't know how long he's there because, again, time is never conveyed to us. We have
could
no
have
idea.
Could have been 24 hours. Could have been 3 years. Like we don't know.
I think he was there for a couple of days. He doesn't eat. He doesn't sleep. So maybe that's also a giveaway that he might be not human. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. If he's been there for days, which
standing there in the rain,
and they're not giving him food, and they're not giving him water, but he's not asking for food or water.
No.
It's like, okay, is this just really human? Maybe not. Maybe not.
And our boy, the ringmaker's like, he's still there?
Right?
Like,
right?
Okay, bring him on in.
Oh, you talking about when he was out on the tower showing off the Ithindril thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I actually kind of like that little portion there because that was a nice callback to Lord of the Rings. For the Mines of Moria. I was like, okay, I thought that was a nice little touch. I was like, way to call back that.
So he finally says, okay, let's
converse.
So he goes down himself in the rain, right? Yep. I don't know why he's talking to him in the rain. Why don't you just tell him to come right to the door there, and you could just stand there by the door? But whatever, who cares? Let's move on. So he goes there, has a conversation with him, and the way this conversation happens is it just makes him look like even more of an idiot.
Celebrimbor, right?
Yeah, more of an idiot.
The way I looked at it was, I talked to Galadriel. These are the rings you were looking for. I was like,
The force was
this
strong.
mofo is a Jedi mind tricking the shit out of him right now.
But okay, there's also a scene. I don't know. If it was before when big boy here on the left
Yes.
uh sends the message. Remember the
Gil-galad.
scroll,
Yes.
right? There was so much time that when Galadriel showed up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just saying so much time because again, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
the time sequences here because I don't know how long it took Sauron to get to the gate
Yep.
versus her already at the other place telling them that he's Sauron.
Feels like The Witcher season 1, honestly. Where like time is just jumping all over the place because you don't know when these events are happening.
And why does it take them that long to send a message?
Right? I thought about that too. Like, Homeboy left Mordor to get to Celebrimbor's city. I'm like, there's no way that's that. Like, he got there before the messengers. That I feel like that's got to be way further from where Lyndon was to Celebrimbor.
Was he on a horse or did he walk there?
He was on a horse. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They let him go on a horse.
Yeah, because that'd have been even more crazy.
Yeah. Like, he walked to Mordor, but then left Mordor on a horse.
By the way, that whole sequence of when he walked to Mordor and got captured, but Adar, who's a made up character, doesn't exist at all.
Yeah.
Adar. He convinces Adar to let him go.
I think it's because of the threat of Sauron coming back, and that's why Adar decided, because he thought he killed him. And if there's any chance that Sauron might be alive, it's like, okay, let's but the enemy of my enemy is my best friend kind of thing.
But let me explain to me why Sauron would want to go back to Mordor. What is he going there for?
That's a good question.
There's no value in going there because he's walking back with no value.
Yeah.
It's not like he's got a group of soldiers there with him or orcs with him, or he got some sort of weapon or like, I don't know what the value was going there.
Yeah. And also him just asking for the release of his people. He didn't need to do that. He didn't even need to ask that because his people are already like chained up doing slave stuff for the orcs already. So I don't know what the point of that was, but Adar ends up letting it happen anyway. He does let his people go. So I'm like, why?
And why did he not just kill off Adar?
Yeah,
what does Adar like? These orcs don't follow any specific leader. They'll just follow anybody who will pose a threat to their lives. They'll just obey on command. Right? It's not like
they're calling him like the father as well.
Dude, he gets stabbed, and the story orcs eat him up, and they follow the next person. They don't care.
Yeah, I had to look.
These are not highly intelligent beings.
No, I had to look up Adar, and yeah, like he's an invented Amazon studio. Like this is
he doesn't exist. No, he doesn't exist.
See that's a problem when they start inventing their own freaking characters in lore that's already established.
Which is why I said they want to broaden the highway from the path, because they want to insert multiple storylines to make it look like they're doing a really, complex structure.
Right.
But in actuality, it's just a hot mess.
Right.
How these are all entwined, sure, maybe you'll have a ingenious way to do that, but at the road to get to that is just a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes there for no reason, comes out of there. Don't know why. He's starting at the gates. This dude lets him in. I don't have another picture here for you to look at. I laughed so hard on this picture too.
They talk about the rings and if they worked or not, right? Ooh, that's foreshadowing.
Does this not make it look like he's one of the top dogs in the elven hierarchy? Nothing says bravado like this picture.
I don't know what that is.
Shows of steel and strength of a master at his craft. Crying like a little baby.
For what reason? We don't know yet. They'll show that off later, I'm sure. But I don't understand how Sauron knew, or maybe he was lying and just like hoping the rings would work. But he specifically, when Celebrimbor asked if the rings had worked. Sauron was like, "Yeah, totally. They 100% worked. It did what it was supposed to do." I was like, "How does he know that? Is he lying? Or does he just know?"
They try to make Sauron look super intelligent and very like a way where he could convince anybody.
Like he's omniscient.
Yeah,
Like he's omniscient. Like he should just know these things, but he didn't. He doesn't know. Like he doesn't even know. Like in the books, he didn't even know that the Elven rings were crafted. He had no idea about them. He just made the One Ring to capture all the other rings that were made from like the Dwarven kings to
the men.
to the Men kings.
Yeah,
And when like the elves felt that presence, they hid their rings so they wouldn't get taken over. And so like this whole thing about him knowing about the rings and if it did work or not, like it nothing is explained really. There's hints about it, like that part where they're showing the messengers and they got slaughtered. I'm like, that could have been it, but I don't think he knew about that. There could have been no way he knew about that.
there's another problem with this show. One of the characters has been gone missing. Did you notice it?
One of the
It was very brief. So one of the actresses is not in the show anymore. They killed her off.
Right. Right. I forgot about her.
They
Oh
wanted
my
you to
God.
forget about
I
her.
was like, who went? Yeah, they
I had
pulled
to
it-
stop and go, wait, did I miss something? When did this happen?
Yeah, it was
Did
the
she die
lady
from
that
the
was.
war? You know, the small village war that they had?
Yeah.
I'm like, when does this happen? And then I went back. I'm like, oh, it didn't happen.
It,
They just got rid of her from the show.
yeah, it was an off-screen death. They blamed an orc arrow that was twisted by darkness. And I was like, well, that's a shitty way to go. Like, what the hell? Yeah, just she was Nora. And when they showed, I was like, no way. They gave her an off-screen death. We're never gonna know how she actually
And
died.
that's another character that they created.
And that's probably why they killed her off, because she's got no more. She's got
That whole story arc from season 1 did not need to be in there.
yeah.
The Don Lemon elf looking guy.
Don
Right?
Lemon. Oh my god.
You don't know about this? This is famous. Everyone on the internet talks about this.
Oh Jesus.
I can't take credit for that. That's all over the internet.
Okay.
Yeah. But that character did not need to be in there. That whole
Right.
story did not need to be in there.
Yeah, because I'm just like, who the hell is Theo? Who is this elf guy?
Nobody cares.
Like, how do they fit into the Lord of the Rings? I'm like, I've never even heard of these dudes.
Again, stretching that street into a highway.
Right.
Because you need to create multiple storylines to keep things interesting. So
Right.
they think. Right?
Also, he mentioned that dude wasn't his dad. So this kid, I thought that was the love child between the elf and that chick.
No.
So the dad is just some completely different dude that we don't know, and that we probably won't even give two shits about.
No, because she's dead anyways now.
Yeah.
What does it matter?
And we'll never know, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
The whole idea was they wanted to have this love interest between the two of them, and that's gone now.
Right.
So this guy's stuck with the child now. He's a foster.
That's not even his.
Yeah, he's a foster elf.
He's a step. Right? He was the stepdad that got stuck with the kid.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's like 2.5 men.
Who's got a great fade from a barbershop there nearby. Again, another elf, right?
With hair.
I have a huge problem with the character, not with the person, the character.
Mm-hmm.
You inserted let's be honest here, an African American elf in here, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Don't you think you should provide some context and background about it to give depth to this character?
Right.
If you are like, hey, you're all about diversity on this stuff, then do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Give this guy a story.
Did you see the other diverse elf?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, they're all standing there.
Mr. Gupta elf guy.
I thought it was a Patel. I laughed
so
hard. I'm like, he looks like an idiot there.
I was like, okay, so India made it to Lord of the Rings. I was like, this is
crazy. I
was
so ashamed of my lineage. was like,
I'm
this is
like, I could never
embarrassing.
believe this. As an Indian person,
First
I'm
of
like,
all, we would never be up in Northern Europe,
no,
okay?
no.
Now we are. We're all littered in England. But there's no way in heck that time we'd be like, volcano blew up? Hell no, we ain't going up there.
No,
No thanks.
no.
And here's this dude standing there looking all purty with
Yeah.
his new haircut. I'm like, dude, why? We don't need this. I don't need you to make a diverse Indian elf for me.
The
Thank
thing is,
you.
I wonder if he's gonna show up again, and if they've given him like some crazy elf name, or if they gave him like an Indian slash hybrid elf kind of thing, like
Let's
it's
think of one. What
Rajeshel, or I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. It's so bad.
uh
Deshaun or some
Curry
something like
Bindoran.
that. Oh god.
High
Yeah.
cook of the
Yeah,
elves.
they're really diversifying out there. It's
Oh, it's just
wonderful.
ridiculous, man. Just so stupid. So dumb. It looks ridiculous on screen.
It did. He looked very dumb on screen. He didn't fit.
And he doesn't even have long hair.
No, that was yeah. I'm like,
This is the thing. Like, if you're gonna do all this,
be
and, like,
consistent.
yeah, exactly. Give them all long hair, man. Like Don Lemon here, give him long hair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care if it's braided. Just give him long hair.
Yeah.
At least try to be an elf-like looking character.
Or do the Killmonger haircut or something? I don't know.
If they could slap a prosthetic ear, and that's all they need to do. Look at these
Literally.
guys' ears, though. It looks so ridiculous sometimes.
They're like they're really wide. They're not like thin and pointy, like in
No,
the
it's just
in the
like it sticks out too much.
yeah.
It's almost like a flap
Yes.
rather than an ear,
Yes.
right?
You know, when they introduced Saradin, I thought he was a human at first because I'm like, where's this dude's ears? How do I know if this guy's an elf or not? He's just a friend to the elves. And then you learn later, lo, he actually is an elf. So I'm just like, okay. But I guess fans of the series of this franchise would know that Saradin is an elf. So they're just taking liberties at that point.
Unless stated, all the elves in my mind, watching and reading, is always going to be blonde, blue eyes, and very fair.
Mm.
That's my interpretation. When you say elf, I look at that
Right.
in this lore, right?
Right.
If you want me to have other, notions of what other elves should look like, then you need to tell me why. Why is this dude
Mhm.
dark skinned, short haired elf versus the rest of his crew?
Mhm.
Is he a mixed elf? Is he from a different part of land where majority of them are this different? Like, give me something to latch on to make it more believable
Right.
than rather than just being a comedy.
Right.
Mattel Elf is not working for me.
No, like in this setup that they have with Rings of Power, there's no conversation about the lineage of elves or anything like that. From what I saw in the little research that I did with the books, like there are different families of elves and they came at different times. So in Tolkien's lore, it would make sense, but they're not explaining that in this show at all.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's just crazy. I just look at him like I know what you're trying to do, and
Yeah.
I I don't hate the idea of trying to do this diversity, but again, make it make sense.
Yeah.
Don't ruin the show because you want to insert your so-called beliefs and agendas. Make it
Mhm.
make sense.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Deidre, the dwarf. We'll get into that in a second here. The dwarves, being a black dwarf. I,
Oh, Disa, yeah.
Is it Disa or Deidre?
Disa.
Disa. Okay.
Yeah.
I got no issues with that.
No.
But here's the thing. Why is she the only black dwarf then?
Yo, that's a good point because all the background people are Caucasian, dude. It's kind of
What is
crazy.
this dude's name? The
Uh
husband?
oh, Durin.
During like did he travel to another dwarf kingdom and find her? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
And you know what? If he did, and he likes some girls like that,
Right.
cool. Hey, you do
Right.
your thing. You do your thing. But tell me a story. If they're, they're obviously a married couple with kids, hit on it. Do some flashbacks.
Yeah.
They could have dedicated an episode on them
Right.
and give me some actual enrichment background that I can like, okay, cool. All right, we got a black dwarf in there. Awesome.
Yeah.
You gave us a story. They're from another kingdom. And you know what? It's darkness for a lot of caves. That could explain why some of them are maybe different color skin
Right.
versus others. Why somebody has red hair, why somebody has black hair, right? She doesn't
Yep.
even have red hair. So, okay, explain all this stuff. Like, show me there's another class of dwarves. What's wrong
Right.
with that?
Nothing.
You're already injecting new characters into this show. Why don't you just give them a background then?
Yeah. Give them some
You're
backstory
already taking
to
liberties.
who they are.
Liberties out the door already,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
So
they've taken the liberties. Just keep going with it, man.
you've already kicked the door down. Just go at it then.
Make your own show. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed the little chin strap that you mentioned last
Yeah.
time too. I did
Look,
notice
you
that.
look at it from season 1. I don't believe she had that in the beginning.
No.
And then when the outcry came from people saying, why do dwarves? And they didn't specifically mention her. They said all female dwarves
Mhm.
should have a beard. It
I
doesn't have to be pronounced as males.
Yeah, I did notice in that in the second episode when they went to Khazad-dûm and the whole thing was starting to fall down. I did notice there were some female dwarves in the background with beards.
Yeah.
I did notice that. But so what it seems like is they're picking and choosing like characters that'll be
I'll
in the
tell you why.
forefront.
I'll tell you why they're afraid to say this is because she's a black character and they don't want to get backlash from the black community. That's the
Mm,
truth. Whether you like it or not, that's the truth.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought my mindset went to it's because she's a forefront character. They don't want to hide her face. They want people to see what she looks like. That was my theory
I
on
don't think
that.
a little bit of fuzz around the chin is gonna hide that face,
No, no, I don't think it would. You get a little
right?
chin strap going like right to
Yeah,
the end
it
there.
doesn't have to be pronounced.
Yeah.
It's drop a couple of Homer Simpson head hair,
Mm.
right on the bottom there, right? A
The
couple
little
of
the
yeah,
little
there you
butt
go, a couple of
shaped hair.
strands, and you're good to go, right? A for effort,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because if you look at Lord of the Rings and you see the female dwarfs, they have hair,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
So
they even talk about how like all those dwarves, even in the Hobbit, they talk about how our women are beautiful with their big burly beards and
there
blah
you
blah blah
go.
and all that stuff. And I'm just like, I'd be down if I was a dwarf. I'd hit that.
Tune us in next week. I'm signing off.
Oh god.
Okay, all right. Hey, you do your thing, right? No, no judgment, no judgment. Some little people need some love too.
Little bearded people, man.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and here's the other thing. Why does that whole place look like a small little studio background?
It's because it is.
You get this beautiful kingdom with
Yeah.
bridges and things like that, and then you just get a little tiny corner, a slivet.
Well, part
I
of me
want to see
has to
taverns. I want to see beer smashed on the table.
yeah.
Dwarfs with drinking beer and have like all kinds of booze dripping off their beards and things like that, right?
Yeah, it was a little weird with how grand their city is. I mean, I would expect like there is like a high class of dwarven lords. You got the king, right? And then there should be like a middle ground, and then the commoner like dwarves, the ones that work in the mines.
Dwarfs
And
dig up diamonds and glittering gemstones everywhere.
metals and everything. Yeah.
This place is so boring.
Yeah, they showed a little hallway market.
Yeah, of course, a little hallway.
I expected the market to be a little shit.
More grander.
I just got what you said a little with the little. That's all bad, buddy. That's so messed up. Jesus.
I'm here every week.
Oh, good God. But yeah, they could have made that market much grander than what it was. Like this is Cosmo Dune. This is like one of the
It's a
pinnacles
kingdom, man.
of dwarf kingdoms. Like it should have been grander,
Grander.
not a little street market that you see in Aladdin, you know? Like
It's another cheap and easy way out for
yeah.
them. Right? That's what it is. Let's not put attention to detail on things.
Mhm.
Let's cheapen this up and get it on. It'll be passable.
Right.
Everything has to be just passable. Right? The Numenorian armor I talked about.
Yeah.
What a
So
joke.
I finally noticed that too, by the way, with the
And what
little
did you think?
creases
What
that
did you
you were
think?
talking about. I was like, "Oh, yeah, I see it now. I hate that he pointed that out, but now I see it, and
It
it
just looks
sucks.
stupid, dude.
It
Like
sucks."
he's walking and it's like crinkling here, like a
Yeah,
sweater.
yeah.
They look so ridiculous and cheap.
Part of me thought it was, like, a part of, like, the chainmail thing, but it's not even that.
It's not chainmail.
No, like, not at
That
all,
sword
man.
is going right through that.
Oh, yeah. That's how they wanna go out.
Listen to the sea.
Like, "Look, we signed up for this service, but we don't
Maybe
wanna
it's
be
bull
here.
so they don't sink when they fall off the boat.
We live too long anyway, just cut it short, man." Like,
And correct me if I'm wrong. Are they not supposed to be a little bit bigger
the
than the
Numenorians?
human?
They should be a little like they have
They should be 6'5" at least.
somewhere within like that taller range because they have like elfin blood in them, but it's
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
They should
So
be more, not like Hulk size here, but
yeah,
they should be more
at
like
least the size of Michael Jordan.
yeah, like or like let's just say Tony Stark and Thor.
Thor, yes,
There's a difference there.
yes, 100%. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking when I see Numenorians in my mind. And then I
Mhm.
see this show and they're like 5'5"
Everybody's average.
and they have no muscle,
None.
no fighting experience. Galadriel destroys 7 of them by herself.
Mhm.
Remember when she did that stupid line? Stick, stab.
Yeah.
What are we eating steak here? Like what the hell are we talking about?
It's the master class of swordsmanship, dude.
Yeah. Like I'm sure, and the funny thing is, like all the Numenorian leaders, like they didn't know how to do that. She
No.
just came here and reinvented how to fight.
Yep. They
These
don't
are
leave
like,
their little island. They're in their
yeah,
own little world.
these are like, super soldiers,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
And
they are. They
right,
100%
they're,
are.
they're super soldiers who've got decades of experience, if not hundreds, right?
Yep.
And here she comes in and teaches them how to fight. It's just, yeah. Season 1
Right.
was a blast when I saw that episode. Again, like I said, laughter is your best way to get through the show. You just laugh it off, right?
Yep.
And people are like, oh, those were like cadets. No, you don't get to wear Numenorian armor if you are just learning.
No.
You
No.
don those when you are fully trained.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they were ready to go on the ship. You telling me they're gonna put cadets on a ship? No.
Unless these people wanna use a cop-out excuse, like, oh, they didn't have the experience of battle, blah blah blah, all that jazz. Like, no, they're supposed to be like well-trained warriors, guys. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. It
The
doesn't matter
lack of
about
experience
experience.
should not exist
No,
in Numenorian
no,
warriors.
no. Like they're fighting orcs who are like just barbarians. They're fighting the wild men
These
who
dudes
are
are
also
supposed to
barbarians.
absolutely go toe to toe with them.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just another example of them not doing their homework and taking their
Mhm.
time. And I
Mhm.
said the showrunners, the 3 bozos, which I put in the video. I have made a video that I dropped, I believe, a few days ago about the
Jeff
3
Bezos Bozos.
yeah, McKay and the other 2 misfits.
Yeah.
They're just bozos. And I don't know. I'll find it the next show. Um, there's a video out there where they've gone on stage prior to the show starting, or when they were announcing the show.
Mm.
There, you can see McKay on the mic saying that, "Hey, we're gonna stay true to Tolkien's lore." So he utters those words. They're not, like taken out of context. This is him uttering those words. We're gonna stay true to his lore as much as possible and respect Tolkien's I believe he said Tolkien's tale or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll get that video next show.
Okay.
Next week.
Okay.
But you uttered those words and you went the opposite direction.
Yeah.
You're a hypocrite. You do not respect Tolkien, and people are like, "Oh, Tolkien's family. Who's it? Is it son or grandson that's loosely being an advisor to the show?"
I'll find out.
He's giving there's credit in the of him in the title, or sorry, in the ending of the shows. But from what I heard, is he's not exactly the true or the purist. He's
Mm,
sort of loose and doesn't really care that much.
of course, it's just the
Right?
money.
Hey,
Uh
I don't blame the guy.
Simon Tolkien. It's Tolkien's grandson.
Yeah, I heard he's a nice dude from everyone who's saying that, but he's just very loose in being accepting to
or
changes.
maybe he really doesn't have the say that people think he has. You
Maybe
know,
just a fit puppet there.
he's a figurehead that they
Okay,
just throw on like, oh yeah, see, we got Tolkien on our side. Hey, we're
we
gonna
do
pay
that.
you to
Yeah,
shut up and let us do our thing. So shut your mouth, sit down, and let us do our
I
work.
wish he would go on social media and address that.
He might have something in his contract, man, where he can't say
Yeah,
squat.
yeah,
You know,
NDA or something, right?
yeah.
But yeah, it's a shame that somebody with the Tolkien last name is allowing this to happen.
Henry Cavill wouldn't let it happen.
My dude,
Henry
that's right.
Cavill wouldn't like if Cavill if he was a part of this. Nah, man, he would fight back with those writers like he did
Well,
with The
we'll see
Witcher
with
and kill them.
Warhammer.
Well, if it goes through,
Oh
did,
no,
did,
it's going through.
did they close the deal?
Yeah, it's done.
Oh, it's
He's.
done. Oh, okay, okay.
But here's what I heard from Amazon:
Oh no.
you have to have 50% equality, and people hearing this is going, "So what?" But
Okay.
here's the problem again: in Warhammer, the characters, majority of the Space Rangers, you want whatever they're
The
called,
Space Marines. Yeah.
they're not women. Majority of them are men.
Man. Yeah.
It's not. It's by design.
Yes.
It's not being sexist.
No.
This is what the problem with fantasy and storytelling that someone has created. Other people from outside of that want to inject their thoughts and beliefs into it, right?
Yeah.
And I say, well, what about the author or the creator of the show? Do you not want to respect their creation? It's their creation, not yours.
Right.
If you do not like their creation, then either make your own or don't acknowledge it,
They just want
right?
to own those IPs, man, or at least have a stranglehold on those IPs. You know.
Or they just want to change and have their own say in it and change the. It's something what's happening with Star Wars right now.
Unfortunately.
They want to change in a and in inject their beliefs and agendas in there, and what like you can't risk that
Mhm.
considering what's happening with Star Wars as an IP. It's just dwindling.
Yeah.
It's getting worse and worse and worse every year, and they continue to double down. Continue to double down. If this idea and these injections were so great, then why is Acolytes canceled?
Why?
Right?
Yeah. Why was there barely any viewership to keep it
Yeah.
afloat?
If you think this is the course of action is good and you think it's needed, then why is the numbers down? Why? Right?
Yeah.
People, and then people will make all kinds of excuses. Oh, they're racist or they're sexist, they're bigots, they're toxic, blah 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 blah. I'm not saying that it's not there.
Yeah.
I'm not an idiot. I know there's people out there who are
That are
the
saying that. Yep.
scumbags of the earth,
Yep.
and I have no time for those people at
No.
all.
No.
But I also have to look at what you're giving to me, and I can tell by I watched the show and broke it down. I'm like, this is a bad show,
Hmm.
and you have to strictly go on that and give examples of how bad the show is, and then you go, okay, I see why the audience score is down, why the ratings are down, because the ratings were good for the first two episodes. People were intrigued, they were hyped. It's a murder mystery, and then it's not a murder mystery; it's something
Yep.
else,
Hmm.
and you're like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So with this show too, like we got 4 more seasons. Well, 4.5. I don't know, 3.5 to go
3.5 seasons. Yep.
of this.
I yeah,
Uh,
like I think we kind of know where it's gonna go, right? Like we know that there's gonna be a big battle that's gonna be coming between Sauron and the elves. That's gonna happen probably like season 3. And then the final season is more than likely going to be about the Last Alliance, where it's the elves and men go to the final battle of Sauron, where they cut the ring off of him, and Isildur is supposed to throw it into the fire, and it doesn't happen, and that leads right into the Lord of the Rings.
I'm glad you mentioned Isildur. We all know him from Lord of the Rings, the scene where takes the sword and chops off Sauron's hands,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
We saw the masculinity. We saw the warrior in him,
Mm-hmm.
the not to give up,
Mm-hmm.
to fight to the very end.
Yep.
I don't think I see that in this dude in the middle.
He's a little soft. He's a
Very
little soft.
frail looking.
You know. Yeah, his episode 3 was definitely more an Isildur centered, focused episode.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of curious about, because I'm like, all right, like 2 episodes, like where the hell is this dude? Like he's nowhere yet. And then they finally bring him into episode 3. And somehow the horse finds him. Barrick.
Okay,
His horse.
So let me inject that if you don't mind. I was looking into that. There's actually a connection with their horses.
Okay.
It's embedded in the story. Oh my god, what is the name of the book here? There is a book about that.
Okay. Is it? Does it have to tie in with like the Maras, the like Shadowfax's lineage?
The Nature of Middle Earth. If you read that book, I'll
Okay.
grab that book.
Okay.
I'll let you borrow it if you want it. The Nature of Middle Earth it explains that.
Okay.
The connection with horses, because you saw that with Aragon as well.
Yeah.
Right?
You do. Yep.
Yeah. So there's a connection there where the horses are sort of, I don't know what, I haven't read the book myself. I just was doing some research because I had that same question with you. It's like, okay, how are these horses finding these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I did a little digging, and there is a connection.
Okay, because I thought that was a little strange. I'm like, this horse just became Batman. Or the Predator, and started tracking like footsteps, smells.
Yeah.
Found him in like this cave full of spiders, which that big ass spider, I've been seeing things online. People are like, is that Schlob?
It could be a version,
right? A very young Schlob, which I maybe would make sense. But
is there only one of that species?
So Schlob is like there's a bunch of them, but Schlob is very well known in the Lord of the Rings universe from what I've read. Like she is like the kind of like, how do they describe it? Sauron sees her as like a pet dog. You know, like a loose wild pet dog that protects his borders.
Okay.
Yeah, she's pretty damn old apparently though.
Okay, well then maybe it's her.
Yeah.
Again, the show does nothing to convey you anything of connections.
No.
Maybe it will down the road. Maybe it will.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know that. But let's talk. We already talked about Don Lemon here. Let's talk about the female. I have no idea who this character is, and they'll probably explore that. But she conveniently lifts her hair at the end and shows that
she's got the
marking. I hate when they do stuff like this.
That's gonna be Aragorn's great grandmother.
Oh, he getting on, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm predicting that right now. He's gonna end up marrying her, and that's the connection to Aragorn. That's the grandmother. And yeah, I have a feeling that's what it's gonna be, man. Honestly.
Okay, whatever. I don't really care. We can get by that. Whatever.
Yeah.
But my problem with Isildur is they made this guy so weak sauce from the beginning.
Yeah. Like he I
is
don't
there
know.
supposed to be an arc for this guy? Like, is he? By the way, why is he wearing Frodo's tourniquet? Why is he wearing that?
Oh, interesting. I didn't even notice that till you pointed that out.
It looks exactly like Frodo.
That's gonna be bad. That's gonna be bad. Like, this dude got his ass kicked by a bunch of bandits, by a bunch of like wild men that don't.
He's
know
a
how
Numenorian.
He's a trained soldier.
Again, we just
maybe okay. You know what? Maybe I'll chalk it up to his leg injury that he got. You know, when she stabbed him, but he should have killed at least 2 or 3 of them before he got captured.
Well, why is he so stupid to be that close in the first place? She literally tells him,
we shouldn't do this.
yeah.
Yeah. He was like,
Oh, by the way, her stabbing him in the leg, how dumb is she? When she said, I thought you were an orc. He looks nothing like an orc. You could clearly see him from where your vantage point was underneath the carriage.
yep.
And she goes, shung, right into his thigh or shin. Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
that
you were an orc. Again, so stupid.
stupid lady. Oh my god.
Just
Yeah.
stupid writing, right?
It's sad, man. It's they and I'm like what I really don't know her significance. She's probably like another made up character. Um oh, did my screen just freeze? Oh, it did.
Don't worry, Roy.
Oh,
Your
okay.
audio is still working.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, you're right. The writing's just bad on this, man. Like her and him, and he's like, I'm
And,
not an orc.
and then he goes, don't take it out. She pulls it out. He should be dead.
Yeah, bleeding out. Like
You're
he
done.
was like she was like, why? He was like, I don't know. I was just told not to take it out when you get stabbed with something. I was like, okay, great medical advice. Good God. You're trained to know this stuff, dude. What do you mean you don't know?
Oh man, it's good times. Anyways, these three stooges are going to be traversing together
Yep.
on a chart. I don't know. You could tell they're going to be traversing together.
It's gonna happen because of what happened in that last episode with
Well, Don Lemon needs a new story now because his love interest is done.
Yep.
And what happened to the boy? Did he just leave him there? The
He
village?
grew up. Well, he grew up. We saw him. That kid is like 6 feet tall now. He should be what a Numenorian is, realistically.
They should just swap them out, right?
Straight up, man. And like when they go to get his like he really wanted his horse back. Like it felt like it kind of felt like a Fast and the Furious thing. It was like I need to go get my car back. Like that's what it felt like. And the boy was like, "Oh yeah, I'll help you with that. Like, let's go at nighttime and fuck them up." I was like, okay, sure, dude. Like, you ain't doing shit. Like, you're not fighting them. You suck. Like, you don't know how to handle a weapon. Who taught you things? Nobody.
And then he shows up, right, to distract the
yeah.
I'm
The
like,
one.
why?
They're
Why?
like,
You're gonna get your ass handed to you right now.
they're like, here's my mark, and they look at it like, that's not our mark. Who the hell are you?
Oh, then he didn't even do the mark properly.
No.
How can he just go, this is my mark?
It was
Here's
like
my mark.
It looked like 2 cigarette burns that he made on his arm. That's what it looked like. One of you guys? Nah, bro.
It looked like a Harfoot was gnawing on his arm. Harfoots were gnawing at him.
Yeah, and so like the dude gets his horse, but then they all start getting lifted into the air. I think it's gonna be trolls, man. I think somewhere like when that big ass troll came to Adar's camp and he was like, "Where's Sauron?" I think there's some sort of deal going on there.
Yeah.
And again, it's like you said though, there's no timeline. So once I have
How
a feeling,
fast can these guys travel? They're so slow.
right?
There's no map to show me where they came from.
They have magic. They have magic, dude.
Teleportation.
Yeah.
He opens up a portal.
Instant travel, like in video
There
games.
you go. Instant travel. So yeah, we'll see what these three stooges are going to be all about. It's going to be interesting to see that. Not really, but
yeah. I mean, they're definitely going to go try and save Theo. That's going to be the thing. Yeah.
We have a purpose now to save Theo.
Yeah.
And then we have. Oh yeah, I forgot. How do I forget? Then we have the desert. Good old desert.
Dune 3.
Why not, right?
Mixed with 300 because the Immortals were in there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be Sauron?
The wizard guy that they showed?
Yeah.
Saruman? No. I don't think it's Saruman, man. Because at that point in time, like because they just landed. Saruman was still like he was helping out the elves against like the dark forces of like Morgoth and the first battle with Sauron. Sorry. So like I don't know who this wizard is. I saw things on Twitter where people were like, "Oh, he's like one of the blue wizards." I'm like, but he's not blue. Like
clearly he's not blue.
He's not blue. I think it's a wizard that Sauron trained because they're clearly trying to get Sauron, and they thought Gandalf that's not Gandalf was Sauron. And I think that's what he is. He's like a disciple of Sauron that learned magic from him. That's my theory.
Do we need this?
No, I don't think
This
so.
journey that they're taking on the desert, what is it for? I don't even know.
It's got something to
They're
do
following stars.
with the
Yeah.
star maps. Yeah, man. Like I again, I don't know that much about that part of it, but it's a weird part of lore that he's trying to go find what these stars are and where they're supposed to be, and they get lost in this desert, and then Poppy shows up. Is like, oh, just sing the song and you'll find your way. Cool. No clear directions. No clear directions for this nomadic tribe that nobody knows about or cares about. Why?
Wearing hot metal on their face in scorching heat.
Just nobody cares. Nobody cares about
It
you
should
guys.
literally burn your face then.
Well, that dude was saying, "Oh, please heal our condition." So he's probably got some messed up. He's probably all just
He's
messed
wearing
up in
hot
there.
metal on his
Yeah.
face. That will do it.
Yeah.
And then we have these stupid Harfoots. They're female versions of Frodo and
Sam and Frodo. Yeah.
right?
100%.
And they're like, we're hungry. We have to. You got literally olives on your head.
Yeah.
Have a gander at that.
Eat
Eat one of those. I don't know. It looks stupid. Why? Who dresses like that? Who puts
They do.
vegetables on
Harfoots
their
do.
head?
Harfoots.
Yeah, apparently they have to distinguish themselves differently than hobbits because they're not hobbits.
No.
And then this wizard, the not Gandalf wizard, he says, "I can't control my powers."
Yeah, I thought that was weird, man. Because in the last battle he was able to control stuff.
Okay, let's just say that he can't control powers, right? Which all makes the ending of his part of his venture from the show even more funny, because so Slim Shady Eminem shows up, right, with butterfly effects. I mean, they just look ridiculous. Even the lady before him, I don't know if it's a lady. I don't know what it is. I don't know who these people are, what their purposes is. We'll find out, I guess. But they just look ridiculous.
Do you think we'll find out? Do you think they'll tell us the backstories?
That's a great question.
Right.
I don't know. I'm hoping, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just leave it hanging, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So they basically said that we need to capture the wizard, but we need to get to the halflings, which you said are set in the scene for the first time. They can't say, hobbits because they're not allowed. They don't have the rights to that, which is so ridiculous and stupid.
Yeah.
So the Three Stooges, another three, they like threes, right? Do they?
They really do. Yeah.
So they're going to the desert and they see a well.
Holy crap. Way to point that out. They really do like their threes. Huh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we see three in the background here in this picture too, right?
Right.
So anyway, so they oh, what happened here? Oh, I canceled my screenshot. Yeah, that's fine. So they find a well and there's a water, I guess, there, and then
because Gandalf passed out.
Yeah,
I'm calling him Gandalf. I'm just
how dare you? You're gonna
just
get
to
struck.
make it.
You're gonna get
I gotta keep it straight because I'm like,
I'm
not
gonna
gonna call him.
I'm gonna call him not so Gandalf.
No, okay, not
so
Gandalf.
Not so Gandalf. So, we haven't even touched on these goofballs here in a second. Hold on here. We'll get onto these guys and then we'll put a bow in it for the show.
Didn't she say to Poppy that he can't control his power because he needed something like a? Oh yeah, we'll get to those.
Yeah, we haven't got to these geniuses yet. We'll get to them in a second here. Stand by.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this scene here. So they need water. They go to this well, and it's got a giant bell that keeps going ding, ding.
Yeah, because it somehow got loose from its like the holder that she hooked it up to. Also, if okay,
I know where you're going with this.
This is what's gonna wreck me. So they drag him over there, and Nori's holding his hand. She's like, "Hurry, Poppy, get the water." I'm like, "Mother, help her if you're that worried." Two people to pull the damn rope would have been so much faster than you yelling at this poor girl,
She's
treating
not
her
doing
like,
anything to save his life. He's just lying there.
yeah, like, "Oh, I'll hold your hand, Gandalf. Like, just stay alive. Like, help your friend pick." And then she
Oh,
had trouble carrying the bucket of water. She had trouble carrying that thing. I'm like, you could have helped her and brought that water to him so much faster.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they get the water, but this bell keeps ringing, and they decide to just let it ring.
Yeah. Even though
Let it,
they know they're being tracked.
yeah,
Even though they know one does not simply just be tracked. You know what I'm saying? I'm pulling a Boromir here. Like, god damn, just let that bell ring. God, like, you
they're like,
stupid
nah,
ass.
no one will notice it.
No, we lost our trail. Oh, okay, hold on.
Oh, let's talk about that. Oh yes,
Where they were just sitting around like, oh, they're coming. And then they go to hide, and not so Gandalf goes and hides behind a giant rock. You a giant white dude. You like 7 feet tall, my guy. How you hiding behind a rock? I don't know. And then they go hide
this
behind
is even
a
worse.
curtain. They go hide behind a curtain that's got holes. It's very thin. I'm like, the snake saw them, but the trackers didn't see them. How the does that make
The
sense?
tracker looks directly into them.
And he's like, okay, walk away.
He's like, "What's that?" Ah, that's just some random blanket there. Don't
Like,
worry about it.
what's a random blanket doing in the middle of your desert,
It's
dude?
camouflage blanket. Just
Oh,
let it go.
okay. So I didn't notice at first. Does that what it was? I thought they had the whole. I thought it was like that the elven capes in the Lord of the Rings that they got that made them look like they were rocks
Again,
when
you're
they.
giving them way too much credit.
I thought it was that at
Yeah,
first, and then I was
yeah.
like, wait, no, that's
It's
just
green.
a
It's not even
sheet.
a rock color.
Yeah. Oh, so that I was like, this is
You know
bad.
what I thought when they went in? I thought it was a cave they went into,
Mm,
which would have
right.
made more sense.
It would have made more sense. Also, those trackers suck because he like the Gandalf dude was just hiding behind a rock. I'm like, so you're tracking these people and you don't look in all the places within that area?
You
You're the
know they're
shittiest
there.
trackers.
You
The
know they're
shittiest
there.
trackers. Y'all need Craven to come up in there and like find your dudes, man.
Here's the other thing. They've been in the desert for quite some time.
Yep.
You think they might stink too? You could smell them,
That's a good point.
right?
But the Harfoots
Something.
don't look like they bid, so maybe they already stink to begin with.
Yeah. Well, they don't. They look at their feet so dirty, right?
Yeah.
So you don't smell them.
Maybe
Oh,
Gandalf guy doesn't sweat,
yeah.
but he can dehydrate, which is weird.
But it's like they're in that area, but they're like, where did they go? Did they disappear? They must have disappeared. We're terrible at tracking these people.
So bad. So bad, man.
That whole scene was just ridiculous. And the water scene with the bells ringing is even more stupid. And then our dude Gandalf, not so Gandalf, what is this piece of wood here? I saw this in my dream. I'm going to pick it up. And then you see the warriors standing there ready to come and charge at them. And then so they do. And this dude, who literally said earlier in the episode, I cannot control my powers, goes and summons the biggest hurricane this side of Oklahoma, right? And just, sorry, go ahead. You want to say
Sorry,
something?
I don't know if you caught what he
Tornado,
said.
so not hurricane.
What he said just before that happened. I don't know if they were trying to be funny or comedic with his line, but he was like, "Oh, we're just getting some water and having to stop for a drink." I don't know if that was meant to be funny or
But I mean,
what,
at that moment, does you need to drop that line?
right?
You can clearly tell they don't care what you are doing. They're
No.
here to kill you.
Yes.
They've been following you for a reason.
Yes. These people are tracking you. You've seen them, and now you're trying to
Reason
play
with
it
them.
off like, "Oh, we're not those people that you're looking for." Again, Jedi mind tricks,
How many three people are out there in the desert that look similar to them?
right?
So,
And that kid,
anyways, this guy summons the tornado of Oklahoma and whisks away.
they they they
Dude, they
went to
have
the
to be
land of
dead. They
Oz.
have to be dead because if they land somewhere, they're dead. At the
Oh yeah,
velocity they were whisked
100%.
away.
100%. Yeah. Like when he was trying to get Nori back and they just took off, I'm like, maybe this is where they die and we don't need to deal with them anymore.
One can only hope.
Because I feel like her purpose, like both her and Poppy's purpose, are done. Like
Yeah.
they don't need. There's no purpose for them to be with them, or to be with him. Sorry, like it doesn't add anything.
No. It's just another excuse to stretch another story that nobody cares about.
Nobody cares about. Yeah.
Right? What is he gonna do if he does find out who he is? They can't use the word Gandalf.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I think it was in the Lord of the Rings, the movie. He said like, "I go by many names, but you can call me Gandalf." You know, so maybe they'll just give him some bullshit ass name. In the meantime,
White
uh,
Wizard. That's what it is. White Wizard.
the Grand White Wizard. You know, just
Yeah, there you go. White Wizard. But okay, so my issue with this thing is he well, there was a conversation that he had with Frodo and the hobbits, right?
yeah,
Like he genuinely knows the difference of what a hobbit is.
yes.
So these guys are not hobbits; they're Harfoots. So
But
does
the
Gandalf?
Sand People call them halflings, so they know they're. I think the Harfoots is just their name. That I find it weird that the Sand People know what halflings are.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like he's been to the Shire. He knows all about the Shire. So are these guys an evolution of hobbits? That also is never conveyed to us, or I don't think it ever will be because they
I
don't have
think
the license.
I think they got to be they're the ancestors of these of the hobbits is what they are. They're
And they're vicious people too, by the way.
they're a little crass. Yeah, I would
Because
say
in
so.
season one, they're like, no Harford should be left behind, and literally
They leave people behind.
they leave people behind the
Yeah.
minute they struggle.
The dad that like got his
Yeah,
foot broken.
they're like, you're on
Yep.
your own. See you later.
Peace out. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
I was like,
savages.
way to be
Yeah,
sticking with your people, man.
they're straight up pieces of garbage. And I don't understand that you said there's no reason for these Harfoots to be with him.
No.
It's you know what they're doing is they're emulating the journey of Sam and Frodo.
Yeah.
They're getting
Yeah.
they're emulating that to give you that vibe, that feel, that love that you had with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Right? That's all it is. I mean, any minute, I have a feeling that an elf is going to follow them in the journey soon too. Those three people that we mentioned,
And a dwarf.
Don Lemon, and the what's the name, Isildur. I think they're going to cross paths with these guys, and they're going to have a fellowship.
I could see that. I could see that. That makes sense, man. If that's how they want to do
If
their
I see
thing,
a fellowship, oh my god, like seriously.
it's yeah.
Hey, Darth, how you doing?
He's like, what?
Yeah, he's like waking up. You guys have a live show on Sunday? What's going on here?
Trying
Yeah,
something new.
yeah, we're trying. No, this was not planned. This was sort of last minute. We decide to. Well, it is planned now that we've had conversations about it, but me and Sheldon are looking to do a regular show every week, on a Sunday, possibly on a Saturday, depending on scheduling. But
Mhm.
we're trying to do a regular show out right now, Rings of Power, but we'll get into other stuff as well. We'll expand as we get better footing into what we were doing here.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll talk about other stuff too as well. But today we're just talking about the first 3 episodes of season 2, Rings of Power. And yeah, so we have that part, and then we get into these guys.
Ah, yes.
Oh, my head hurts again. Another character that's been okay. So both females here, the one in the red and the one in the crown, the
Yeah.
queen,
Arian and Muriel.
they don't exist. Well, the crown queen, what's her name again?
Muriel.
I think she might be an afterthought in his books,
Okay.
like mentioned as a daughter to the
Yeah.
king. But the other
he
one,
again, he didn't complete all his works, right?
yeah,
Like there's stuff that's been unfinished, so that could fall into that. So they're picking.
the Isildur's sister not exist.
Interesting.
That is created for this show.
Oh,
Yeah,
to cause more drama. Awesome.
yeah.
And she did
And
cause a lot of drama.
but again, why do you need to create this story? I don't care.
Again, why did she steal from the royal chambers? Shouldn't that have been like, hey, you're going to be executed for stealing from the royal
How
chambers?
did she get into it?
Yeah, I don't remember how she got
They don't
that,
show.
because it happened in season 1. Like, she was talking to the king. He was spouting some nonsense, and then somehow she got that ball.
Yeah, I don't know how. I can't remember.
I'll have to go back and check it out, because like that didn't
I don't
make
want to
sense
go
to me.
back. Please don't make me go back.
I'll go back. Don't worry.
Fine.
You won't have to. I'll go back.
Godspeed.
Yeah.
Again, it's just so dumb that this character even exists. For what purpose? And she belittles Isildur so many times in season 1.
And now all of a sudden she cares about him.
Yeah.
And cares about what happened. Like, pick a lane, lady. Pick a lane. All right? You either hate him or you love him.
The
You know?
dad is supposed to be the mentor to Isildur. All
But
he
he
does
sees
is
him as a
cry
failure.
and complain.
He saw Isildur as a failure. He didn't want him to be a part of anything.
Which is
He's like,
crazy.
yeah. He's like, you're better off just being like a stable boy in our city.
And
Yeah.
the funniest moment is when this queen goes blind and they put a blindfold on her.
How did she go blind again? Some sparks flew in her eyes or some shit?
Yeah, something like that.
I'm like,
Remember
shouldn't
how
your eyes be burnt out?
Galadriel was able to walk through it all unscathed, but this one became blind?
Because of some, I'm like, okay, shouldn't your eyes just be damaged then if fire and sparks got into your eyeballs? But she was completely fine.
And then they just put a, and then they're walking later on, and they just put a little cover on her to let everybody know she's blind.
Yeah. Like,
It just looks ridiculous.
silly stuff, man. Silly writing.
And she tries to be this high, powerful leader, and nobody's listening to her. Nobody cares about her.
No, they like the dude on the left there, the one sitting with the with the red cape and the white robes there.
Yeah.
He was like, nope, she's not. We can just do revolting kind of stuff. Or his father was saying that, and then she's just like, she seems torn but not torn about the whole situation. Like, the sister of Isildur, but then goes on to proceed to tell him like, oh yeah, there's a forbidden object in the royal chambers that they're using, and we can use it to gather the people up against her. And Farazan's just like, yeah, cool, let's do it. Like, I'm a bee king.
I don't know what the story behind here is all about. I'm not familiar with this, but why was there a giant bird that showed up?
I don't understand the Eagles either. I know that the Eagles have their own kind of like kingdom thing going on. I don't know what their tie-in is with Numenor though, and
Yeah, I don't know either.
why it matters. Like, the
We'll
Eagles
do some
make
digging. We'll do some digging and figure it out.
yeah. Well, yeah, I'll have to find that out because I'm so curious about that, man. Apparently, they're the reason. If they show up, they choose who the next royal person is.
Oh, okay.
Well, in the show, that's what they explained.
Okay.
It'd be, they were like, it'd be auspicious if like the eagle showed up. It may not like work in her favor, and it didn't. Like, well, the eagle showed up and people didn't know what to make of it, and then homeboy's dad, the elder, the noble that's like against the queen, was like, oh, hail Farazan, the eagle chose Farazan, and everybody just started chiming in. Like, how did you interpret what the eagle was saying? How did you interpret that's what that meant?
Maybe next episode. We are left to wait till next episode.
I mean, that eagle flew off. I don't know if we're gonna get that explanation.
I was hoping that he would have like a big, you know how pigeons have the little notes on their legs,
right?
Giant squirrel.
Here's those eagles can talk.
Can they?
They've been shown to talk, and in the readings too. Like, Gandalf can talk with them, and they talk back to him.
Oh,
yeah. So I'm like,
well, I seen that in Lord of the Rings. He whispers, right?
Yeah. In The Hobbit too, the movie, they showed that they can talk.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I was like, unless the Numenorians don't know that they can talk, and so the Eagles are keeping it that way. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're just birds. We'll just squawk, you freaking idiots," and like we'll fly
Hey
away.
Steve,
We get
they
to
don't.
choose who your next
Hey
king is.
Steve, we can talk.
Yeah, we chose some dumbass to be the king, so now that's who they're following.
Look at those retards.
Oh god.
Oh well. Ah man, I don't know. This show is just all over the place.
Yeah.
It's a giant mess.
Like they're not explaining how the Eagles tie into them. The whole Gandalf thing is another thing. Like it's
Don Lemon,
Delph Lemon.
Dolph,
Good God.
Elf Lemon,
Oh, jeez.
Galadriel, Guy Ladriel, sorry,
Yeah.
Guy Ladriel and her warrior ways.
You know, what I noticed in the first three, with these first three episodes, was they were really trying to downplay. Well, maybe not downplay, but they were trying to make her like, "Hey, yeah, I messed up. I take accountability for some things, not all things." Because there, she was like, "I was tricked," and Ellen was like, "Nah, bitch. Like
You're
you knew what you
thirsty.
were doing.
You're thirsty. That's what
Yeah,
it was,
you did choose to do that."
dude. This guy had more value in the beginning of episode one than the entire season one.
Elrond?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, he
he
did.
says to them, "Don't throw these rings away. Don't use them." Blah blah blah. I have a really bad feeling about this. This looks like a trap. He literally almost kills himself, proving that by jumping off the ledge into the waterfall.
It felt
And
like The
these people,
Fugitive.
yeah, and these people still don't believe or want to listen to him.
Nah. Yeah. You know what? I think he was just he, I think he loves her and she didn't choose him, so he
Yeah,
was a
because he's
little
not
bitter.
masculine at all. Why would she want him? You look at Sauron and you look at this guy. Even I'd pick Sauron, right?
Yeah.
Look at this guy. What you want to go with this guy? Okay.
Let's go. Yep. And he was like, "Well, the nice guy is no longer available to you, so eat
He's
my
gonna get a
butt."
tattoo. He's gonna look like Sauron tattoo, right? Look at me, I'm tough now, Galadriel.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
like they
he's
really
gonna have
tried to.
no regrets.
Oh my god. No regrets. Yeah, they tried to make her seem like she was trying to be accountable for her actions and that some of her things really were out of her control. But then I like how they got Elrond to pull it back and was like, "No, no, no, no. You made every choice your choice. You were not manipulated in
And
any way."
they don't punish her. They still allow her to be part of the
Yeah,
equation.
that was crazy to
If
me.
I'm the
Like,
king, you need to go away and
mhm.
never come back because you just committed suicide for
She
all I
should have
know.
got a demotion.
Oh,
She
absolutely.
she should have got a demotion.
Hand in
Homeboy
your robe and get the F out of here.
Elrond was the only one that was making sense at that time. Like he had some
She
hand in
should
it.
be
This
in
is
jail,
yeah, yeah.
but they're not
Like
gonna do that because
Elrond
she's
should have
just
got a promotion.
100%.
Yeah.
He should have told her, "You go into jail for your treachery, your dishonesty, and you're looking after yourself first instead of the well-being of the entire elf race.
Mhm.
You are going to be in jail until further notice."
Because
And he
she's on a
gets
vendetta. She's on a vendetta to avenge her brother. Wants to kill Sauron. Doesn't care about the elf people. Just
no,
wants her thing.
yeah.
Super
She
selfish.
doesn't care about anybody else but
No,
her vendetta.
no.
She puts the entire, not just elves, but entire a race of people in
And
danger.
the entirety of Middle Earth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That I can't believe that. Just like, whatever, forgive her.
Yeah.
And then
I,
later on, he asks her for her input on the how to go about planning this. What? Why would you trust her, and why would you want her input after what she just did?
right. Like I kind of want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like he's keeping tabs on her because he's noticing she's drifting off, like having those like weird visions and stuff, and just like maybe this is him keeping the tabs on. I mean, that's why
Okay, so
he
here's the thing: if I knew that she's having visions and stuff like that, I'd be like, "Oh, okay, let's put a hold on her because she's going crazy." That's what I would do. I'm like, "Okay, you're going cuckoo. You need to be restrained
right.
right
Well,
now."
well, they make it sound like, and maybe it is like they had that power before, but because of the trees losing their light, losing the leaves, that power dwindled, and now that they got the rings, it's amplified to like 100 now. Because like she asked him if, do you have these things going on too? And he was kind of like, he kind of danced around the question, but
In Lord of
ultimately,
the Rings, she does have visions. Remember,
yes, yeah, she
she
does.
does have that, right?
And it's because it like they're making the statement that the ring is amplifying that power,
Yeah.
and that's why they're getting lost in these thoughts, and they're having the crazy visions and seeing Celebrimbor being sucked up into the tree. Like,
If she's allowed to leave the next episode, I don't understand what's the purpose then. Because if she has these visions and she's important, she should be staying right next to the king.
yeah, she is allowed to leave though.
That's the thing. I don't know why. Like, okay,
Yeah, like,
why would you want her to leave?
yeah, like
She's already messed up once.
he was like, Galadriel, you can do your search thing with them, but
Oh,
we're bringing Elrond into the mix, and yeah, you're not leading it. Elrond is, and the look on her face when he said Elrond's in charge, she was like, she was pissed. She was like, this is my
she's
expedition.
gonna stab, twist.
Like, oh my god,
She's doing that to Elrond.
yeah,
Snap.
yeah.
Elrond's gone missing.
At this point, I'm on Elrond's side of things. I'm like, yeah, man, do your thing,
If
get
she
after
does
him.
that, or obviously she won't, but if she does that in the show, I would go on Team Galadriel right away.
Oh
I'm
my
like, you
god.
bad, you bad. And it should be funny. She does that and just pushes him over the waterfall.
Mufasa style.
Yeah, whoosh. Be with your people at the bottom there.
Yeah, just Jesus, so bad, dude. Oh my god.
That's what I'm telling you. You got to take it as a comedy. Then
Yeah,
you can get through these shows.
that's fair. That's fair.
Oh
And
man,
then we get the whole thing of like Anatar being him calling him like Sauron calling himself Anatar now, like he was sent by the Valar as a gift giver, and they're inviting dwarves. Or
oh,
sorry,
he's Jesus, right? For a second.
yeah, dude. That like that one scene must have cost them quite a few millions. Quite a few millions to pull that off. I thought it was kind of dope. I was like, okay, we like the whole pushing back the smoke and fire and the sun coming out, and he's like, hey, I am here. You are now
Yeah.
delivered, my child. Like, I'm here to help you. I was like, oh, that's pretty high production you got going on there, guys. Jesus.
And then you see Celebrimbor, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's
He's
like,
like,
oh my god.
he's like, okay,
So
I will
dreamy.
follow
So dreamy.
you. Oh my god, dude.
You
Oh,
have you seen that? What's that movie? Sleepless in Seattle or something like that, where they're putting a pottery together, they're holding their hands.
is it Sleepless on the Saddle? Are
I
you
don't know
talking
what
about Ghost?
Ghost. That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. I'm telling you.
Oh god.
That's how the rings are gonna get.
It's just like, let me guide your hands, Celebrimbor. Oh, thank you, Enter. Like, oh god, I love you. Oh god,
What's gonna happen?
it's gonna be bad, man. It's we'll see how they.
Oh, you
If
know what? I forgot to mention. Disha is it? What's her name?
Disa, yeah.
Disha. Okay, so they're already knowing that the caves are crumbling.
Mhm.
She goes and sings louder and destroys all the bit of light that was still coming through.
Yeah, so I found that interesting. I didn't even know what a stone singer was until the Rings of Power dropped. So they're supposed to help them like find spots in their caves in the mountains that they can dig up properly without any sort of bad things
Compromising
happening.
structure. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I was like, okay, that's cool. But then with this whole thing with them, and they're singing, like you said, it all crumbled, and it's because of the dark influence that's happening in their mountains right now. It will not let them find those safe passages.
But here's the thing, though: whatever bit of light that you have left, do you think it's wise to go and crumble that too? Because you grow your crops and everything because of those
Mhm.
lights. So
Yep.
now you have no food. We're
Yep.
gonna have a shortage of food.
Yep.
It's
That
these kind
offer
of
that everyone brought to them about having like 500 animals and all this stuff was looking pretty good right now.
and then this father and son bitter argument while your whole culture is about to collapse. It's just so stupid.
You're putting your people at
I'm not gonna
risk.
talk to him. You can talk to me. It's
Yeah.
just so dumb.
Mhm.
They're trying to play it off as comedy, but you can't play it as comedy when your whole race is about to go extinct.
Yep.
It's
It's
just timing is horrible.
yeah. Thank you. It is bad timing. Like this is not what you should be doing when your people are in trouble. Like bad
Ugh.
king, bad prince.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, bad show. A lot of bad,
A
a lot
lot
of
of
bad
bad,
things
man.
going on. What? Okay, let's just kind of give our scores here for the first 3 episodes. Do you want to
Like
give
all
one
together?
score, or do you
All
want to do it
together?
individually?
Individually? Uh first episode. I don't know, man. That's got to be at least like a 5 out of 10. I found them okay, and I think I'm looking at this through a different lens now because now that I understand that they don't have those rights and they're just trying to fill in, I'm like, okay, maybe it would have been
But
different
whose
if they
fault is that? That's their fault.
it Amazon's fault or was it
Yeah, it was
Tolkien to the
Amazon.
Tolkien estate just not wanting to give it to them?
No, no, no. They didn't buy the right. They were given to purchase what they wanted.
Oh,
Tolkien's
okay.
estate never said you can't have this, you can't have that.
Oh, interesting.
They just
Okay.
chose that because they thought they were smart and got everything for that price.
Oh, okay. That
Which
changes
is the
things.
bozos I was telling you about, the
Yeah.
showrunners. They're
Yeah.
inept at their ability,
It's bad.
right?
That's bad.
So they're to be blamed, and they pin themselves in a corner. Now they can't even dig themselves out.
Right.
The damage has already been done so bad. And then the addition of these new characters and trying to give them storylines also makes it worse.
They want it for merchandising, man. When they create the toys.
I don't think anybody's buying this stuff. Seriously, like who's out there trying to buy merch for this show?
I don't know. I hate the rings. I'll say this right now. Like,
Dude, they look like something from like Target's corner clearance
yes,
section.
thank you. Like, it's the most
Cheap looking.
yeah, and unimaginative rings I've ever seen. Like, these are supposed to be very elegant and exquisite rings
They look like somebody went to Hobby Lobby and put it together.
made by a master craftsman. And
There's no craftsman there.
the best you can do is a ring band with a circle so you can put a gem inside. Cool. Like,
Not even entwining or anything like that. Nothing.
nah, nothing surround. I
Plain,
hate
plain
it.
and simple.
I hate it. Now it makes me wonder what the dwarfen rings are gonna look like. And
It's
like
just gonna be red gem on top. That's it.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, episode 1, I'm giving like a 5 out of 10.
I'm with you on that too. 5 out of 10 for me as well.
Yeah. Episode 2, where it was a little bit more about like Elrond clapping back. I'm gonna give that a 7 just because I like the clapbacks that he was doing against Galadriel. I'm like, yep, you got it, bro. I'm with you all the way on this. Like, give her shit, dude.
I'm gonna have to give it a 5 again because of the fact that's the reason why I'll give it a 5, but everything else kind of brought it down for me.
That's fair. Yep. That's fair.
I'll do the last one first, and then you can do the last one at the end because you did the first two.
Sure.
For me, the third episode, I'm gonna have to give this a 4 out of 10.
Ooh.
I think I got worse.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't get better, it got worse.
Yeah, I think it kind of dipped a little bit too. Like why you giving it a 4 though? I'm curious.
Because it just got the stories. I don't care for them. Like Don Lemon's coming into that picture with him, and then the desert. I just don't care. They look stupid. It just there's no reason for me to attach myself to these particular small groups. And I hate the fact that we've got all these little groups scattered throughout.
Yeah.
And we don't even have any idea or any interest in why we should follow their journey.
There's too much cutting back and forth is what's happening in this show.
Well, there's too much vague too. Like,
yeah.
He's gonna follow stars. What the hell does that mean? The stars are in space. I don't understand. Like, and then why are these hobbits with you? What do they gain out of this? They're putting their lives at risk for what?
For no reason. She
John
just wants
Lemon,
to. Well, it's clear. Like the what's her name? Nor, whatever her name is, the one that went with him. Nori, thank you. Like she wants to go on an adventure. She feels like she doesn't belong with the Harfoot clan. So
that angers me even more because it's such a cheap knockoff of Frodo and Sam.
Mm-hmm.
That's infuriates me even more that you're trying to slap this together and copy Lord of the Rings,
Right.
right? That's another reason why I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10 is
Okay.
because there's not too much originality here in terms of sticking to the lore, but also giving a fresh take on it,
Right.
right? You're just copying things, but twisting it just a little bit. It's like an AI wrote it, right?
Maybe AI
Basically,
is writing the show, man.
maybe I wouldn't
Yeah.
put it past them, but it just there's no original, message being brought in,
Yeah.
right? And then because you've already screwed the pooch by going a different direction, adding new characters and not following the lore, the story now is getting out there wider and wider, and it's becoming a problematic to bring it all back together. I have zero faith in these guys bringing it all full circle. Zero
Mhm.
faith. They don't have it in them.
Okay. Okay,
It's
that's
going to
fair.
be a coincidence, contrivance of people coming together.
Right.
Oh, look, it's those people over that we met in the first season. Let's all
Yeah.
hang out together, guys.
We
Because
homies now.
yeah,
Let's
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's
I
what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna give it a 5.
Okay.
Again, it was okay, and the reason why I'm giving it a 5 is because of what happened near the end. Like, we're getting Anatar, and I'm gonna call him Anatar from now on because that's what he's going by, and to Celebrimbor inviting the dwarves over. So this is where, like, the part of the lore kinda makes sense, but still kinda weird because I don't know if they ever invited the dwarves to do it. It was just they're gonna make rings of power for the dwarves. They were gonna make them for the men. What I liked about it was when they gave them when they brought the mithril and Celebrimbor picked it up and he was about to drop it into that molten liquid, he takes it from him. Anatar takes it from him.
I was expecting him to grab his hand.
Oh, interesting. Oh, and like we'll put it in together.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I
Yeah.
wanted the lights to go down, right?
Oh
The
my God. Just
soft,
make it super,
soft jazz
super
music
sensual.
playing, right? Elven jazz music playing.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Ah,
For me, it was that part of it was like, okay, this is where it's starting to make sense now because he was involved in making the dwarven rings and the rings for men. So him grabbing that mithril, that was to me what it looked like was him putting his influence into the mithril to come back to it later and then dropping that in the molten liquid so it's gonna be corrupted. So it's gonna end up being corrupted. I was like, okay. So you got a little bit of that lore correct because he is involved with making those rings, but he was never really involved with making the elven rings. So
yeah.
like there are some things they did stick to, but it wasn't still not 100% with
I
what it
think
should be.
from compared to last year to this year, I think the the scope is getting a little like a sliver better.
Yeah.
I still think they need to do better job of expanding these cities and making them look more grand.
Mhm.
Whether it be the
Make the world
dungeons,
come alive a little bit more.
yeah, like
Yeah.
whether it be the dungeons where the dwarves are, to where the
World
elves live.
building. That's the term.
World, but yeah, I want to
Yeah.
see more grander
Yes.
because in Lord of the Rings, you had the music kick in. When they go to Gondor and you see
Yeah.
grandness. You get that feeling of a big place.
Yes.
It's the feeling of the big place is what we need. We don't need to see a big place.
No.
We just got to feel it that it is actually big. There is something behind that corner,
Mhm.
right? That's
Mhm.
what we need to see. And they don't do a good job of that. Everything looks like it's in the studio boxed off,
Yeah.
and there's limitations of depth there, right? That's what it feels like to me.
My thing is as we move forward in this series is are they going to eventually meet Anatar? Because I think it was stated that they do. Like Anatar was supposed to go to the city of Linden first, but and like the High King and Elrond were supposed to like shoo him away because they didn't really believe in that or they didn't care for that.
Yeah,
Uh,
ignorance, right?
yeah, yeah, and it was Galadriel that does end up seeing him, but like he still the face is still the same. I'm like, okay, if you kind of like, if you don't recognize this fool, there is something really wrong here because that dude's
It's
got the
like he's
same
Clark
face.
Kent with the glasses on.
Oh, don't they're supposed to be smarter than this. They're
I
supposed
know.
to be smarter than this.
If
Like,
Galadriel walks by him and goes, "Who are you?
I'm I'm a
What
loser. I don't
strange
know if
creature
I
are
don't know if
you?"
I'd want to watch anymore, to be honest with you. Like at that point, how do you not
That's what's
recognize
gonna
this?
happen.
Oh,
That's what's gonna happen.
It, oh,
Do you
it's
know
the
why?
oh,
Do you
yeah.
know why? I'll tell you why. Contractually, his agent probably put in there you cannot change his face.
This guy, he's not. Is he even that well known of an actor that he can do
It
that?
doesn't matter. It's
Oh
what is
my
in the
god.
contract.
Oh.
You signed it for 5 seasons, and you have to have his likeness.
For 5 seasons.
5 seasons.
Ugh, ugh, gross. Yeah, that I feel like that's gonna kill the immersion right there. Because
I would be surprised. I'm telling you right now, if they change the look of his face, they could probably have it disfigured, but still, I'll still be able to recognize you if your half your face is disfigured.
right. Yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do, man. That's my biggest concern is like, how do you not recognize this dude?
The other problem with this show is the actual age takes place over 1,000 years.
Mhm.
They're trying to cram all that in like a few days.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's 100% what it
which is
feels
why
like.
we can't understand the the travel times. And none of that is making sense to us
Yeah.
because everything's happening next day. Next day, they're here, they're there.
Well, that kinda it kinda felt like that with Lord of the Rings too, when, like, Sam and Frodo started taking off to Mordor through the mountains. Like, in that movie in those movies, they made it felt like it was, like, maybe a few weeks worth of travel or a couple months, but apparently it took years for them to travel through there.
Well, I am more okay with a couple of months than a couple of days.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, obviously, they're not gonna do a years in a TV show for or a movie, a 3-part movie. They're gonna make it look like a couple of months, which I'm still okay with because it's still a lot of time for things to do, happen, right? But here, they're traveling from one part of the continent to the other part. In next day, they're there.
Right.
There's no explanation. And then the other thing is, how do they find certain things? Like when Numenorians in the first season shipped with Galadriel to go to that village, it's a tiny village in a huge landscape, and they were able to find them right away.
Way too fast.
They're literally there when that war happened.
Yeah, there the sense of timing is off for sure, man. It's they they need to either explain it in some way or just expand out your timelines a little bit, guys. Like it's this the lands of Middle Earth are ginormous. Like
Yeah,
we've seen the maps. We know how long it takes. You just can't wave your hand and be like they're there now. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that Sauron got to Celebrimbor before the messenger and Lyndon did. It going like I guarantee you in the next few episodes, them leaving Lyndon to get to Celebrimbor is going to take like 4 episodes.
that may be the case, but here's the thing. Remember, we have 5 seasons of this, right? Why is there a rush to do all this?
Yeah, I don't know. They're probably trying to set up for the big wars that are going to happen.
I think it's because they don't know how to write.
That too. Yeah.
I don't think they know how to expand on a situation properly.
Mhm.
So they do these cutscenes. They have multiple storylines because that's the only way they can film an hour worth of a show.
Right.
They don't have the writers in that room don't know how to expand on a journey.
This is Game of Thrones all over again, man. This is
Yeah,
what this is. It's Game of Thrones all over again. And it's going to have a very disappointing ending, I'm pretty sure.
it's gonna be wrapped up real quick.
Yeah.
But at least Game of Thrones, you had good writing for the most part, clever writing.
For the first 3 seasons, 4
I would say
seasons.
first. I would say I'll give you 4 seasons, good
Yeah,
4 seasons of
yeah.
writing. You're not even gonna get that here halfway through.
No. It's a little sad, man. It's a
It is.
beloved franchise.
Yeah.
People really dig the lore. They have a lot of lore that they could have expanded on.
Do you want to know the kicker?
Talk to me.
HBO has secured rights with tokens to do their own.
Shut up.
HBO's in talks with Token Estate to do another version or another age. I don't know the details, but they're securing rights right now.
Interesting.
Hold my beer.
Interesting.
Hold
Okay.
my beer, Amazon.
That's gonna be wild, man. Okay. I'm curious about that now. That
It might be. I think it's a Gollum's Journey or something like that.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
But HBO's doing that, and I'm telling you right now, if Peter Jackson is involved in any capacity, I don't know that for a fact. I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe in a
Mhm.
creative or advisory role. It's gonna be better than this show.
I mean, if Andy Serkis comes back to reprise Gollum, I don't think he's gonna
I don't think he
sit back
is.
and let them butcher that character.
I don't know. Well, he doesn't have any rights to it, right?
No, but he might
Andy
pull
Serkis
like
is
a.
an actor. He has no power.
Oh well, I mean Henry Cavill is an actor, but he managed to force like the writer's hands on the Witcher series and kept most things true to what Geralt
Yeah,
was.
but what happened? He walked away.
He walked away because he thought he was getting Superman back.
No, I thought that too. I thought that too. That's incorrect. He actually came out and said no. He walked away because they were changing the script. Remember how he
Oh,
complained about keeping it true to the origin?
yes,
And the
yes.
writer said, "No, we want to do it this way." That's where the depart was happening. It had nothing to do with
Oh,
Superman. No,
interesting. Okay.
yeah,
Hmm.
I thought the same thing as well until I found out more information, and it was nothing to do with Superman scheduling. It was him not happy with and disagreement with the way they wanted to go, the direction they wanted to go.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because they remember that spinoff they did, the
Spinoff.
Witcher spinoff.
The cartoon?
No, no, Witcher spinoff. They did a Witcher live action spinoff. It didn't even last a whole season. I think it
Oh,
lasted.
right, with Michelle
Yeah,
Yeoh.
yeah. That why did that
Oh,
not happen? Because it was nobody
see,
cared.
I I forgot about it because it was not even on the damn radar.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
tried to spin off and make it another, not related to the lore. They tried to make their own little thing, and
right.
it didn't have any traction, and off it went to the side. They don't learn. They don't learn. They never learn. And
Hollywood's
these
night.
and these
Hollywood needs a
studios, they
revamp.
just give them a check. They're like, "Here, take
Do
it."
what you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just keep repeat the cycle over and over again.
Yes.
You've got the source material. Use it.
Do it. Do it.
You already have a fan base.
Yeah, they're not writing for their fan bases, man. This is what we talked about before, right? Like this is them putting in their own ideas because people want to feel important and special. They don't
Yeah.
care about source material. They want to try to leave their stamp out
Yeah,
in the
their
world.
legacy, right?
Yes. Yeah.
They're thinking that they're gonna do the society an important service by leaving their own mark on a established lore.
Yeah.
The
You
key
know,
word
and
being established.
I don't think they understand that the people would recognize them a hell of a lot more if they followed the source material. They would love them for following the source material on these things.
You'll get more flowers.
Yep.
You get more flowers.
Yep.
It's the same thing with Star Wars. It's the same thing with Marvel. Like stick to
Yeah.
the source. You can make a little tweaks here and there, but don't make fundamental changes.
Mhm.
Like like Robert Downey Jr., who played Iron Man, is now gonna be Doctor Doom. I can get off a tangent on
I
that.
know you're not happy about
I'm
that.
not happy with it.
Yeah.
No offense to Robert Downey. I love him. I think he's a fantastic actor, and he did an amazing job. I have nothing but flowers to give to him for what he did to bring Marvel
Mhm.
back to the limelight. But dude is withered and old,
Yep.
and that ain't my Doctor Doom. I'm sorry.
No.
My
I
Doctor
I
my
was
Doctor
really
Doom is
hoping
jacked.
yeah. I was really hoping Cillian Murphy would have been the choice for Doctor Doom because that
Well,
dude
they
can act behind a mask.
Hans is it Hans or Mikkelsen? What's the name? He was supposed to be no Skarsgård.
Oh.
He was supposed to play what do you call it, Doctor Doom. There was early talks with him,
Oh, interesting.
and it got changed and canceled, and it became
Although
Robert
some
Downey.
of his movies haven't been doing too hot, man.
I would have taken him over Robert because he's
That's
actually a
fair.
bigger stature human being.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Doom's
fair.
got to be 6'4", 6'5", jacked. Because in the comics he is. You look at comics. Does he look frail and shriveled?
No, not at
Like
all.
5'7"? He doesn't look 5'7", 5'8".
No.
He doesn't look like that. He's a
True.
big
Yeah,
boy.
he is a big dude.
He
You're absolutely
commands
right.
presence when he walks into any room.
Yeah.
Like, remember, there's in the comic scenes where Thanos steps up to him and he just goes woof, puts his hand right through Thanos and grabs his vertebrae.
Yeah.
Anyways, my voice is going.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we talked about the 3 episodes more than what we should have given it, to be honest.
We're like 2 hours in. That's
Yeah.
crazy. And we'll be back next week. We don't know when, what time. Probably earlier, later.
We'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know.
Yeah. And we'll talk about episode 4 and go from there and anything else that's coming up. So Mighty Mornings is going to be changed to Mighty something.
I think we should do the animal thing.
No, we're not. You guys can let us know in the chat what do you want to change to.
Do the animals, guys. Vote for the animals.
Chris is going to kill you.
Oh, God.
Anyways, bye, guys. Thanks
All right,
for
see you
hanging out
later.
with us. Bye.